all live on air right now.
All right, we should be live. I'm just
all right.
YouTube is just going to catch up for me, but here we go. Here we go.
Well, I'm really happy to see everyone again. Real quick before we start, I just want to take a moment to introduce our guest this week, my friend Scarlett. She is the host or co-host, I should say, of Never Log Off. And yeah, she's our second guest. So Scarlett, thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had Scarlett on my show before, and she's an MMT economist, and all of my viewers loved her because she's like a wealth of knowledge. So yeah, really happy to have you here. Also, there's another thing that I have to say. It's weighing heavily on my heart. I've gotten so much credit for the wonderful outro for the Leftist Mafia, but I didn't make that. Lance did. So I post the VODs on my channel.
You can have the stolen valor.
I can't do it. Just ethically, I can't do it. So I just have to let everyone know that's all Lance. That is not me. I had nothing to do with that. Although I will be working on an edit to add more Jordan Peterson and like memes to it eventually when I have free time. But that's all Lance. So I can no longer claim the credit, folks. So I appreciate the wonderful comments, but that's all. That's all Lance.
I also love Lance's pretty interface that when it streams from. I linked to Lance.
That's not me.
Who does that? The pink kid? That's you.
So I do stuff with the worker co-op, and that's the artist. His name's Kyle G, and he does like all the really cool graphics and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. But attributed to your camp. Yes, coming from your corner.
Oh yes. Yeah. It was coming from my corner of the internet. Yes, you are correct. Yes.
Yes. Love it. I love it. So pretty.
Yeah, we all have stolen valor here. What the fuck's going on? Actually, I don't know if I should curse anymore. I stopped cursing on my YouTube channel just because I'm.
I curse. I don't. You might as well get that out of here because, as y'all know, I curse a lot. So there's no point to do that when I'm gonna keep it up.
Well, that works then. I know there's a lot of things that we all.
So I should just mention up front. So we are using a different streaming platform today, StreamYard. For the audience, let us know how it works out, if it's all smooth, if everything's good. We can see your chat on the side. I think this is from my YouTube channel, but it may also be coming from Twitter as well, since we're also streaming on Twitter today on TRN Show.
That's
yeah. So multiple ways to watch this. I also considered doing it through Facebook as well, but the Facebook audience is a little weird. It's a very conservative audience. It's very different. I don't know.
You too, huh?
It's just a wild. That place is insane. Facebook is insane. And the messages I get on there, oh my god, just crazy people.
Horrifying, right?
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So let us know if everything goes well.
Are the squares going to move again? I think they are, right? Because Binder hasn't joined yet. Because I'm readjusting everyone's windows.
So once Binder comes in, I think he'll fill in. Like the top three should stay where they are. I just cropped it in, so it initially was uncropped, but I figure it's better to have everyone kind of zoomed in, so you can see our faces better. But this layout should remain. Once Binder comes in, it'll be, I assume, 6 blocks.
Yeah, the only time it'll change is if you put on a video, right, where it'll all kind of shift to the side.
Thank you for mentioning that, because we do have the ability now to play videos that we all can see at the same time. So I have a couple just for laughs that we can play later.
Oh,
one,
nice.
like you sent me that one, and then I got a Ben Shapiro clip that we can all enjoy from this week. I'm sure some of you already know what that is, but Ben Shapiro this week was just insane. So we'll get there later on. But
he's been putting out some bangers.
Oh my, he
never misses.
Kind of person. No,
he never. Oh, by the way, before I forget, folks, I'm repping the fam here.
I should have one of your shirts.
Yeah, we could be twins. Yeah, I was too cold to wear just the shirt because this studio is freezing. But yeah.
Very nice. I like it. That's awesome. I like it. And it works better for you because you don't use a green screen. I realized after I ordered the shirts, like, oh yeah, I have a green screen. So whenever I wear the shirt, you can see right through the lettering, but whatever.
Yeah. See, that's why I couldn't use a green screen myself, green or blue screen, because I tried blue screen, but my tattoos get keyed out. So my arms look transparent and it looks very freaky and weird. So yeah. Yeah, unless I wear long sleeve, but I always am hot in the studio. Now I'm cold, but usually I'm hot. So I always roll up my sleeves.
To the people in the chat, I believe Bender is logging on a little later. Don't quote me on it though. And Blair, I am not bored. I am fried, Celeste. Thank you very much. Okay, not happy to be here. I'm fried. You can't see the glassy look in my eyes. I'm very enthusiastic to be here. Actually,
Celeste is a staple on my channel. She's quite she's kind of a troll, but she's like a loving troll. So she means nothing mean by it.
Yeah. And I was gonna say to Berserk, yes, I believe Blair will be here next week. And thank you, Grandpa. I love. Yes, love flattery. Flattery will always be accepted here. Panda, right to me. Oh, now you're always fried. Don't be on to me. Don't tell my tea.
Well, and you can see super chats here too. I'm just like amused at a boomer on this. This is really cool.
Yeah,
this is really cool.
I can finally see the comments.
Technology.
Well, can we take a few minutes to let Scarlett introduce herself properly and what you do and whatnot? Because we're kind of adjusting Scarlett to like the guest format because you're only our second guest, but the first one was really great. Sure. So we're still going through with this. So do you want to tell us who you are and what you do?
Yeah. So I mean, professionally, I'm an economist. I don't want to get too deep into my, where I work and what I do, but yeah, that's what I do in my day job. And online, I have a Twitch show that you mentioned, Never Log Off. That's kind of like this, just a panel show that we just share things that are funny. We actually used to use StreamYard, but we switched to Melon, which is they both have their strengths and weaknesses. Neither of them is really perfect, but yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I haven't heard it. It's called Melon.
Yeah.
I'll look that up later.
But yeah, and I also have another show that hasn't been too active lately, but we're hoping to get back on track. That's about MMT, actually. Never Game Over. The purpose of that show is to play games together and sort of analyze them under an MMT lens. And it's similar to how like Marxists also do like cultural analysis.
That's interesting. So like, what kind of games do you play that you analyze?
We are starting with Final Fantasy VII, the original one.
Oh, nice.
Just trying to look for, ways to understand things in an MMT framework.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, we haven't had.
I'm a huge gamer, so that's a good way also just to kind of connect to like a different kind of audience and just kind of bring people into a conversation they may not be too familiar with, like bring gamers into that conversation around MMT. I like that.
Yeah, because everyone plays games pretty much, and it's easier to relate to or to understand if you can relate to it.
Yeah.
I am the redheaded lady, Leanne Bernini, DC. I changed my hairstyles. Corner, I'm ready.
To the redheaded lady.
You distracted Olay now.
I'm like, surely it's the one black lady on the show. Surely it's the same one.
Olay stopped coming. We got this new girl here.
That's hilarious. First of all, okay, new era. That was 2022. Okay, this is the new color scheme for this year. Get with it. Okay, so where are we starting? Let's get started. Anybody have something pressing on their heart they want to talk about?
I feel like you did, didn't you?
I did, but I'm fried. So you see how I like my spirit is different than when I sent y'all that message. I was being very scholarly and academic. That was during the workday. So I'll lean into intelligence later. Mike, take it away.
Well, I was. Go ahead.
Well, I was.
Matt's backstage. Bender's backstage. Bring Bender.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, well there we go. We'll start with Bender.
Sorry, that's my fault. I wasn't looking at the backstage. Hello.
Hello, I was waiting for you to let me in, and I
my
was
bad,
back
my
there
bad.
the entire
It was
time.
2 minutes. Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
This is my grand return to the show after a 2-week absence.
Yeah.
We will have to hear about CES. I want to hear what the crypto bros are up to now. And everyone else there.
Yeah, sure. You want to talk about that now? Or we got other stuff to get to.
Well,
no,
what's that?
Let's go. Let's go.
Want to do that?
The people miss
Sure.
you.
All right, let's do it.
You've been gone a while. Let's get to it.
Last week, I went to CES in Vegas as my job to report on it. And CES is it's the biggest tech show in the world. Apparently, it's the Consumer Electronics Show, and you got companies as big as like Microsoft and Samsung, and the TV companies like LG and TCL, et cetera, et cetera. They all show up there. But then you get a bunch of like startup companies and a bunch of like medium to mid-level size tech companies. Like they all want to be there. And the interesting stuff is that you get to see products that you might see in the coming months and years from like those big companies that will be in stores or whatever. But then you also see a lot of shit that will never ever be sold to people because it's all prototypes, or not even. It's literally like things they're showing off that are demos that don't even really work. They just it couldn't work the way they wanted to out in the field. But you also get another thing out of the show. It's basically a feel for what the tech industry is finding to be trendy and buzzworthy. This year, for example, all these startups all wanted to use the term metaverse or Web3 or VR, virtual reality, to describe what it is they do. And many times this did not fit the company at all. For example, Web3 requires blockchain to be behind whatever the platform is that you're claiming to be Web3. At CES, however, if you're a company that basically just wants to get across the idea that people should be in charge of their content, you call yourself a Web3 company, which makes no sense whatsoever. And then for Metaverse, for example, Meta, the Facebook's parent company, they made it quite clear that Metaverse is any sort of immersive world that's 3D, virtual reality, VR. They made the word term Metaverse popular. But at CES, basically anyone who was creating any sort of 3D world, as in 3D graphics, not virtual reality, like if anyone created their own Second Life or World of Warcraft or Roblox, they were calling themselves Metaverse. Very weird, as if that's always been a thing.
Yeah, it's kind of muddying the waters because I thought Metaverse was supposed to be like something with the headset, and you're like in a world that is separate from your screen, but it's also now applying like retroactively to places like Second Life. That's bizarre.
The weirdest thing to me was I was watching a panel with the CEO of Napster on he's one of the panelists. You guys remember Napster?
I do.
So he's up there on this panel and he's talking about how Napster was actually the first Web3 company. And I'm sitting there like, dude, what are you talking about? First of all, their blockchain never had anything to do with Napster whatsoever. But then second of all, like, why are you debasing Napster by calling it a Web3 company? Like, there is not a single Web3 company that has so far, and I'm going to guess they will never, but there has not been a single Web3 company who has done anything meaningful to culture, society, people as a whole. Nothing. You can't think of a single company who calls themselves Web3 who has done anything meaningful. Yet Napster completely changed the entire fucking music industry. Like, Napster changed how music is distributed. Because of Napster, the music industry doesn't try to sell CDs anymore. They moved to a streaming model because everyone preferred to just download the shit they wanted on Napster back in the day. So that to me was ridiculous. Like, all those Web3 companies should be wanting to be the next Napster in terms of having some real defining sort of legacy left behind on some sort of industry. Yet Napster wants to be a company that has in an industry that has done nothing. And second of all, even if we go by like the buzz term that they use at CES, like the buzz term at Web3 meaning, where it's just like content creators having ownership over their and control over their content, Napster is the fucking exact reverse of that. Like, Metallica sued Napster because they had no control over their music on Napster. Like, Napster's whole deal was people could download whatever the fuck they wanted on Napster, even though the music artist did not want them to download their shit for free. So it was just really bizarre. And then when it comes to like the word crypto, one thing I noticed completely, it was just like a word you don't say there. I watched panel after panel. And none of them, and these are panels that were talking about Web3, and they mentioned blockchain. Even NFTs were okay to talk about. There were a lot of companies giving away their NFT, like giving away NFTs to like promote their company for free. Basically, I mean, I'd rather get a fucking little free pen with your company logo on it than an NFT. No one cares about that shit. But anyway, no one says the word crypto at any of the panels I'm watching. There was a little like fintech area on the showroom floors where like the companies set up their booths. There was like a total of 8 companies in that section. 2 of them were like crypto payment platforms, and one of them was a Bitcoin mining hardware company. Other than that, like it was incredible to see that no one wanted to touch cryptocurrency, crypto. It's like they smartly saw what was going on in the real world, and they were like, yeah, maybe we skip this year. It was very fucking bizarre.
But they're still engaged in crypto. They're just not saying crypto because NFTs, like they're still engaged in this stuff, but they're just not saying the word crypto because
right. I mean,
just
if you're calling yourselves a Web3 company or dealing in NFTs or dealing with blockchain, I mean, you're minting tokens on the blockchain. You're dealing with crypto. I mean, it's that simple. In order to create an NFT, you have to mint a token to connect to whatever media you want to put on the blockchain. That's. I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
So it's just marketing at this point. They're just like changing words to protect themselves, basically.
Yes. They're okay with the non-fungible tokens, basically.
Yeah.
The fungible tokens they're not okay with. I mean, that's seriously that's like the difference. That's it, pretty much.
I have a question. Was there any tech that actually that you that impressed you, that you were like, wow, I actually like this? This is cool technology that's going to help society.
Well, I don't know about help society, but glasses-free 3D TVs were fucking incredible to see.
Oh, that's a thing.
It was mind-blowing. There's basically, I don't know the technologies exactly, but it was very clear to me that there's 2 different technologies that these companies use to do this. One, it makes it look like the 3D goes deeper and deeper into the screen, and the companies that use that technology, like that shit looks like your 4K perfect displays right now, but using 3D. It was insane. Like I've never seen crystal clear 3D like that, and you didn't even need glasses. That shit is not coming to your home anytime soon. The companies I was talking to that was using that sort of 3D technology, we're talking about devices that cost in the 5 figures. So that's not something we're going to be seeing. Yeah. But there's also the 3D that looks like it's popping out at you, like the type you see in like, you know, at 3D movies and stuff. But again, glasses free. That stuff is obviously not as, you guys probably used it. Like this type that like your eyes sort of go cross-eyed after a little bit, and it's not, you know, it doesn't look as
it's stereoscopic like the Nintendo 3DS, right?
Yeah. It looks a bit, if you look at it for a while, it starts to feel a little bit weird. And it's obviously the imagery is not as like rich and deep, like the colors and the focus and all that. But that shit's probably coming soon. I spoke to a company that said they're dropping a 3D glasses-free 3D display in the next couple of months. That's going to cost less than $2,000. Now, yes, very expensive, but for new technology, that's usually
really
the
good
range that stuff starts in. Like your 4K TV, your flat screen TVs, even like your Blu-ray players, like that shit all started at like that range before they got rolled out more broadly, and then they hit the price point that they ended up being at. So like it's possible that we'll see that stuff soon. Also, Tesla's fucked. Tesla's absolutely fucked.
Yeah, they are.
Like I can't even tell you how many companies were there rolling out EVs, talking about their EVs. I was there when Sony surprised everyone with their EV that they built with Honda called the Afeela. Like you got the big car automakers getting into the EV game, and you got companies that do not do cars at all getting into the EV space. Like Tesla is not going to be unique. I mean, they already are. There's a bunch of EVs already out, but it's going to get so saturated. I don't see how they compete with all these big automakers. Honestly, I just don't see it, especially when they start rolling out the more affordable, cheaper vehicles. Like Tesla's a luxury vehicle. It's like $50,000. Like people, that's not usually
and they fall apart. Like the build quality compared to actual automakers is just not. It's not there.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
and their value keeps dropping, just showing you like how overvalued that company was before.
Right. Oh, and
They have
another thing
kids,
to
too.
talk about in our political sphere, right wingers and people like that always love to use the terms about like the how like robotics or AI are going to replace service workers and any sort of job like that, and they use it to like dangle over workers' heads when they talk about raising the minimum wage and stuff. Well, I watched a bunch of like different robotic companies put their demos out there, and one thing that stuck out to me was there was a literal service worker robot there that was there to make bubble tea. I forgot the company that was showcasing it, but it was a bubble tea making robot, and people who were there were able to get on the line and order their bubble tea and watch the robot make their bubble tea. Well, a human being had to fill the cup with ice and hand it to the robot. The robot was then able to, hold it under the bubble tea dispenser, and then hold it under the mixer, and then hold it under the machine that puts the cover on it. So the robot was able to do that. That was impressive to watch. But then the robot puts it down, and the human being has to go over and take it and bring it to the actual person who ordered it. On top of that, that whole cool process of watching that robot make a single bubble tea, I should have timed it, but it was about like 5 to 10 minutes to make a single bubble tea. The robot took forever. It took way too long. Like no bubble tea store would be able to would be able to survive, I should say, on making 6 to 12 bubble teas per hour for their customers. They'd go out of business very quick. So I mean, we're not.
So I guess that's not rolling out anytime soon. Then that's
we're not anywhere there. Yeah, the coolest thing I saw was a fucking Transformers toy, Optimus Prime, that like this robotics company made. That's for sale right now, but it's a toy. It's about 19 inches tall, and it was insane to watch. It was able to do like this whole crazy karate routine. It got down on the floor and did push-ups and sit-ups. It's a toy though. It's a remote control Optimus Prime. And I thought it was so cool because it's something you could actually go out and buy right now. It's not cheap. Again, I think it's like $1,000, but in a whole like room full of stuff that they're showing off that is like 6 years, if not more, down the line, if again it ever even shows up for a consumer use. I mean, having something shown to us that actually is available now to people was pretty crazy to me. So I enjoyed watching that little fucking robot.
Binder,
Awesome.
you was at a convention or something?
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I don't know when I missed it, but we must be on the convention. I'm like, that's what it is. He was on tour. That's why he was at this show.
CES, Consumer Electronics Show.
I was like, clearly I'm hearing about every stop on this tour.
I only talked for about 10 minutes nonstop.
It might not. It might
that was
not
good,
even
though. I
been that
enjoyed
long. You know how time is moving for me. Like,
One question that I have for you, Binder, is did you get to try PSVR 2?
I saw it. I did not get a chance to try it.
Okay.
The lines were long for a lot of stuff. I basically had to take advantage and test out shit where I could. And Sony wasn't one of the companies who reached out to me to give me a private demo of it. Although I probably could reach out and I could have gotten one. It just didn't. Wasn't something I was focused on while I was there. I honestly went to just basically cover exactly what I just spoke with you guys about, just the overall feel of what the tech industry is focusing on in terms of, the buzzworthy stuff, what they think is the trendy stuff. Like we hear so much about all this AI stuff right now. And that was actually, there was a few AI companies there, but the stuff there was actually focused on interesting usage of like real-time closed captioning. If you're like talking to someone who speaks a different language, like via Zoom or something, like companies that would actually translate it for you in real time and then do the same for that person. So that was interesting, but then you see what's the big AI stuff here, and it's right now everyone's talking about that chat GPT that basically tries to make you that gives you whatever you want to hear. It's so ridiculous how many people are falling head over heels over this thing. You guys seen that whole chat GPT thing?
I did
Yeah,
not.
kind of like it kind of like write resumes and stuff too. Like, but basically, it sounds like just a more, I don't know, like a more intelligent bot. Like back in the day, like I don't know, 20 years ago, AOL Instant Messenger, they had like a bot like that where you could like talk to a bot and reply back, but now it's sort of like a more intelligent version of that where it actually seems like a real person, and it takes things from the internet. And so say you want to write a script
doesn't
in someone's voice.
It does not take things from the internet. How
does it work then?
It's data trained on everything that it was fed, mostly stuff on the internet, yes, but up to a certain point. Like it's not in real time searching the internet. It's using all the data that it's basically learned from and trying to formulate the best response. Like if you ask it, like if something happens in the news right now, it's not going to be able to tell you anything about it because it hasn't been trained on that data. It's not searching the internet in real time. That's probably going to end up changing at some point, but it's basically trained on all of our shit. But shit that's already been posted up to a certain point. It's not able to find out. And also people are obsessed with it, thinking that like it's outputting stuff that it knows what it's saying. Like it's not like machine learning is different from when we learn something. Like it's intaking basically what it the user who is like typing to it is telling it wants to hear, because they assume that's the correct version. If the user is telling them this is good, this is what I want. That's why you get a lot of stuff that is factually incorrect, because it doesn't know. Like if you tell it, no, that's not right, then it'll probably, at least when you talk to it, not come back with that information again, because it's learning from, it's basically like a dog. Like whatever you say that makes you happy, it goes, oh, okay, I'm going to wag my tail. This is what I know this person wants to, this means I'm a good boy. And then if it does something incorrect, it learns from that. It wants to make the user happy. It doesn't actually have any sort of like brain that knows like, oh, this is correct because it's factual and this happened.
Interesting.
Which means like if like a lot of times like I see people using it to like write articles. Like I guess if you want like a basic like template to like start from, but then you have to go through all that shit and edit it and make sure what it actually gave you is correct, because the facts and figures, it's just pulling out of thin air. It's grabbing stuff that might be correct because it's looking in the same basic general area for whatever topic it is you're asking it about, but it's not like fact checking it or like learning that like, oh, this means that like 2 + 2 = 4, and that means that this equals that. It's basically just like taking from a general area and trying to understand what you want to hear practically.
So y'all watch the Golden Globes?
I saw clips.
Golden Globes.
I
missed it, but yeah, I know what happened pretty much.
Did y'all see Gerard the Scientology remarks? Did you thoughts?
No,
I was too
embarrassed
to watch. I was too embarrassed to watch that.
We're now beautiful and we can stream things. So somebody play that. Go on Twitter.
I don't think we can play. Can we play Golden Globes on YouTube? Probably not.
No, you can just go on Twitter. Go on Twitter and type in.
On Twitter.
Let me find it. Let me just run the tweet group chat. I got this. 1 second.
But what happened?
I'm about to send it to you.
I can't play the video though, because like I can't play Golden Globes footage, right? Like it's copyright problem.
No, that's
on YouTube. You're probably gonna get arrested.
It's a
if I'm being honest.
Yeah, if you play footage from it, it'll probably get.
I can read the text, but
claimed.
I can't play the video.
Yeah, if
YouTube
you play
has a
more
lot
than
of
like
copyright,
10 seconds.
Yeah. Like when it comes to like that kind of stuff, like award shows or like NFL, like they're super strict. When it comes to Fox, like you can do news because it's whatever, but you can't do like exclusive shows like award shows.
Like the clip that's on Twitter.
How long is it?
Twitter's fine. Like
Twitter. That's what I'm.
No, yeah, but it's the Golden Globes posting that, right? It's probably from their page.
No, it's from, I think, Variety. It's just a tweet. It's just people post videos. Okay. All right. Well, ciao.
You can maybe play the audio, but when it comes to
or read
I'm gonna just play it. I'm gonna just play it and whatever.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
put on your window
now.
office screen. I'm sure it's fine. I can't play the actual video on here.
All right. Here we go.
Backstage, I found these 3 Golden Globe Awards that Tom Cruise returned. Look, I'm just the host briefly or whatever, but I have a pitch. I think maybe we take these 3 things and exchange them for the safe return of Shelly Miskovich.
Damn.
Yeah, child. He was there blowing shit up all night. He was like, fuck it, I done got paid. The check cleared. I
Who was this?
Gerard Carmichael. So hold on, let me try to get the tea on the Shelly Miskovich lady. Because I don't
David is missing, right?
Who?
David is missing, but his wife was missing too, right?
No, when you say David, we're deep in the weeds on white people business, right? Because like I want to be clear. I don't want you to think I have an advanced backstory knowledge of this Scientology drama. I recognize this isn't even the part of the show that hypes me most. I just went to what I might have made it to y'all's radar. I was like, ooh, right? So
I could
the characters Scientology, ooh, conspiracy, white people mad. Yeah, that's it.
No, I could be totally wrong on the name though. So I thought it was David Miskovich, that was the name of the Scientology founder, and he's gone missing or something to avoid some other drama.
Not the founder. He's like the current president, I think.
Oh, the president. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get the tea right now.
Yeah, I don't know anything about
the founder of Scientology is
L. Ron
Hubbard.
Hubbard's the founder.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah,
Yeah,
of course. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's been a while since I watched a documentary about Scientology, but it was very scary.
No, but his wife has been missing for a long time.
Yeah, she's not been seen alive in years. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Someone in the chat says Liam says since 2007.
Yeah.
Since 2007.
Oh, wow.
That's a long time to not be seen alive.
Yeah.
That's really crazy when you think about it, because they made all that fuss about your girl in the Tiger King about old boy being missing. Like, that's a lot of noise to be making to just let that rock. And Robert Durst. Do y'all know about Robert Durst?
Yeah.
Y'all know? Did y'all know about Robert Durst?
There's like a documentary on that, right? Robert Durst.
He missing, snitch on himself. He missing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, he'd have got away with it too if it weren't for that meddling mouth.
The mic was on and in the washroom, right? Yeah.
No, but he homie, like he's actually like he's lived a life. Robert Durst is really quite a character. I covered that trial when I first got on Long Crime News, right? So Robert Durst is this white guy that was like in Manhattan, so rich, well, family of money. So he marries this woman and then he unalives her. That's the theory. They know disappears, no real proof, like blah blah blah. Kind of goes off into the wind. And then for years, people are like, he certainly killed her. Certainly. Then they know for a fact he like cuts him, kills his neighbor. Like when he's in one of the places that he's on the run, he murders the neighbor. Another like old man, like cuts his body up, all that. Goes to trial, convinces them that it's somehow self-defense to murk this man, cut him up, take him. I'm sorry, yo, this shit white people get away with in court is fucking crazy.
You're talking about the Tiger King, right? The
yeah,
TV show?
No, not the Tiger King. We're gonna get back to them though. We're talking about Robert Durst.
Oh, okay.
We're talking about Robert Durst. And by the way, so then he gets away with that. And he goes back off into obscurity on the run, quiet, getting away with murder for years. Hold on, and then I think the best part is, boom, I got it, the spicy part. So then his bestie, I guess, who had known he'd kill his wife all these years. I don't know what he must have done to like upset Shorty. I don't know what happened, but he kills her, right? He kills her, leaves like a note, like, letting the people know, like, this where bodies at, blah, blah, makes a little call, so they could getting away with that too. Quiet for years. Then HBO come and knocking, and he's just like, yo, I need to check his zodiac sign because it's
I know exactly what you're talking about now.
Giving very Leo. Yeah, it's giving very Leo. He was like, oh God, look how they in my business. Oh, I love that. He's so fascinated by me. So he tells his bitch, he tells his wife, hey, yo, get him access to all my shit, all that stuff there. They making an excellent documentary about me. I love this. This is fanfare. Woo. So then every motherfucking thing. We'll get back to those documents. But then on the interview, he missing like, I mean, I still can't believe this shit. Like, I'm so upset for him. The defense attorney in me weeps, child. He does the interview and then he like walks out of the interview, but he's still mic'd up and he's in the bathroom grumbling, just grumbling his little confession. I'm like, yo, they went and hemmed my man's up. Like, they went and caught him on like literally as the episode dropped. They were like, Come. We got you. And I forgot to mention earlier when he originally got caught killing the man, it was because him who had a bunch of money in his pocket just doing thrill shit. Say, let me just go to this, like it was like a Walgreens. Let me just rob it. Let me just $36 of I paid and mad money in his pocket on the run, bro. You on the run. Like you're on the lam. You're on the lam. You murdered people. You about to be gonna risk it all over like $36. He sure did. He showed the fuck did. So anyway, they put my mans on trial, and then now watch this. Every motherfucking document, because he didn't get him all that access, all that shit, all his lawyers' files, all this stuff. But now you done third partied it up because you done gave them access. Every fucking thing comes in, everything, and they really put my mans. They no solid, like no actual evidence. They still don't know no bodies, no nothing, no blah blah blah. They put my man there purely off of missing and slipping up on the HBO thing, and the slips and just putting his friends there, like, y'all know he's a killer. Say it. I know you know he's a killer. That's the whole trial. I'm not even lying to you. And then his friends, one of his friends though was like a real G, like some of them was like, oh, you know, we kind of know, but maybe. And he's been our friends for a long time. One of them was kind of just like, fuck you, I'm not answering nothing. Like it's like nothing was weird to me. I ain't seen her. I ain't know he killed her. Was I there? Like I was like, that's fun. And everybody was talking shit, and I wanted to talk shit, but like in my heart of hearts, I was like, that's a real nigga for real. Like yeah, like if I'm old, if I'm a senior citizen, like I have very little years left. If my boy has been my boy all this time, he's a killer all this time. He ain't never killed me. But even my homie this whole time rocking with my boy, and he really did. They brought him there to trial, and he really stood 10 toes down. But they convicted my mans, and I'm heat about it. I mean, I'm still sick about it, and I can't remember how we got here, but I wanted you all to know. It's important. That's the story of Robert Durst.
I forgot all about that story, but that was a good documentary. It was on. Yeah, the Jinx. That's right. Yeah.
What is it called again?
The Jinx.
The Jinx.
And I tried.
But your team, Robert Durst?
The guy who made the Jinx went in there testifying against him, and I so hated that shit. Like, I think that's so trifling. Like, I'm like, bro, you know you was currying favor with him to come make your thing, but you acting all above. I can't stand that. How you all in his business enough to be following it, to be making your little bag, doing your little documentary, your whole little show. Now you gonna act like you morally above him, like all this condemnation and judgment. It wasn't all that fucking judgment when he was sitting across him, interviewing him, trying to get a bag. Punk ass. Now you testifying all voluntarily. I was
the guy's a murderer. That's like that's their job. They're making documentary. Lance, you missed the Christmas episode where Ole defended her friends that are murderers.
First of all, I want to let that. Nobody said I got friends that are murderers, but I said it would be fine
if they did.
That's first of all. Second of all, the only murder they know he did, they know without a shadow of a doubt he fucking did. They acquitted that nigga on self-defense. Everything else is speculation. You don't know that. You never seen her. You don't know what happened. They don't know. They don't know.
It's like OJ. You got to get him on something else, right? Like that's what it is. Like we he's guilty. He missed it the first time, but you got to get back and get him for something else.
And that was some bullshit too. But that was some excellent.
This was the Christmas special that we're doing.
Yes, no, I absolutely, and I maintain. I wanna double down on all my comments about riding for my friends who may or may not like. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, y'all don't know nothing but a safe space. Okay, it's called unconditional love. Learn about it. Thank you. My friends are loved. Okay, they can call me and it's gonna be good. At most, I'd be like, ooh. Let's get on an encrypted line.
I mean, I have friends that I would definitely believe if they told me, like, "Oh, I didn't do it." I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I believe you," and then it would most certainly turn out, "Oh yeah, I did that." And then I'd be like, "What?" Like,
but you'd be fine, but you wouldn't stop being their friend, right, Lance?
It depended on what it was. I mean, like, I would hope they found restorative justice, but if it was really bad, I mean, if they had, like, sexually assaulted a bunch of people, I wouldn't be like, well, I definitely need to rekindle this friendship, or this is worth saving. I'd be like, yeah. I mean,
Okay, well, David was a full-on narc. David's a narc.
If my friend's a piece of shit, I'm not gonna be a piece of shit with them. Fuck that. No.
I love you, right? I love you. I just want y'all to understand. Should we ever be criming? David's the first person you have to eliminate. I love him. It's not about like let a solitary tear fall when we eliminate David, but you have to eliminate David. It is a mistake. You will be
just don't tell me. If you did it, just don't tell me. That's all. It's a bad idea. Don't give me your secrets.
No, trust me, I know. You ain't got to tell me twice. I feel like Lance is the most likely to stand by me in the event of a crime. Like that's what my heart of hearts tells me. Nah.
He give
you don't think so? Who's the most likely?
He'd give you
us Canadians. Canadians respect people that are good, that don't murder people, that don't do bad things to other individuals.
All we do is genocide.
We're the good ones, Lance, but
it's a country of genocide.
Did you do genocide, Lance? I'm talking about we're the good ones here. That's what I'm saying.
We're the good ones. First of all, you're the ops. Okay, I like whatever role you want to assign to the ops, you have at it. But you are the ups, okay? Like, no, I
can't deny it. I don't know.
This is going to devolve into an Americans versus Canadian stream, and that's very dangerous.
No,
because
we can't.
Honestly, no, Bahamians versus whatever the rest, everybody else. Clearly, I'm the realest nigga on this team. I am the only person y'all have a problem calling me. Like, no, yes, no, yeah, Keto, they not gonna get it. You right, Keto. But how did we get there? So Golden Globe, Scientology. Did y'all hear Eddie Murphy?
No.
It's crazy.
Oh yeah. With the Will Smith comment.
Yes.
That whole thing. Yeah.
What did he say?
It was like a joke. It was just
a joke. It was a little joke.
He's like, there's like 3 things you have to know in life. All right, play it. I'm just afraid we're gonna get copyright striked.
What are they gonna do?
I'm keeping an eye on the YouTube just in case.
Wait, somebody said Mike would help dig a hole in the woods for you. No, I would not. I would never be complicit in murder. Jesus Christ.
How do you get Olay? Olay would help you dig the hole.
All of that is subjective. Depends on who. Depends on when. Depends on what. There's a lot of factors, you know.
Y'all, you see why y'all can't beat the Chargers? They be trying to left you gang. See, that person was trying to help you, Mike. Like they were trying to help you. Like they were trying to paint you. Mike said, "Oh heavens, no!"
I would never.
No, please, do not for 1 second think I am calling the police. like, and
bring it closer.
Tonight, I want to let you know that there is a
Can you hear it?
blueprint that you can follow to achieve success, prosperity, longevity, and peace of mind. This blueprint, I followed it my whole career. It's very simple. There's 3 things you do. Just do these 3 things. Pay your taxes. Mind your business. And keep Will Smith's wife's name.
That's pretty good.
You know, this was the least watched Golden Globes ever.
Oh, no kidding.
It was like 6 million viewers or something. Yeah, it was like a lot lower than like they usually hit like 20 million or something crazy, but it was like under 6 million.
Oh wow.
Yes, Evan, you are a hater. Evan DeVries, you are a hater. I just wanted to call you out in real time that you are a hater. Yeah, I think in fairness to them, haven't all the award shows viewership's been going down year by year?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, you know.
It's just people don't care.
Yeah, I mean, they're all kind of masturbatory, right? It's just like a whole bunch of super famous rich people give each other awards. It's cool.
Yeah. I don't even care about the streamies, which is supposed to be, I guess, kind of our space. I couldn't tell you who won, who lost. I feel like, like Lance was saying, these are all masturbatory. People are auto-filleting themselves on stages. It feels like an elitist circle jerk, and I never watch it. But if there is something that's noteworthy, then I'll see the clips, like the Will Smith slap at whatever that was, the Golden Globes or the Grammys or some shit. But I never tune in live. I don't think the last time I watched was like a little kid. I don't know. I hate him.
I don't remember watching anything live.
I don't think I've ever watched
recently.
like, the Golden Globes. I watch, I've watched like the BET Awards and certain ones here and there, but no, I see the clips. I saw Abbott Elementary cleaned up. I was very happy about that.
I need to see that. I still haven't watched that.
You haven't seen Abbott Elementary?
No, I just finished House of the Dragon, and so I'm going to transition into a new show. So I might start Abbott Elementary. I've heard so many good things about it.
Okay, I love that. All right, Abbott Elementary is great. You need to watch that.
Okay.
I meant to say that today. I thought about this earlier. When if I ever go to Canada, I'm sitting down and making Lance watch Degrassi, and we are live streaming it. That is what's happening.
God.
Yeah, that's the oh God, look at his face.
That sounds terrible.
That sounds wonderful. That sounds amazing. That sounds really amazing. I actually love that. So the next time
you have to watch 80s Degrassi though. The new generation is just not the same.
Wait, there's a
thing.
new Degrassi? There's two Degrassi?
I think that's the one Ole's talking about. There's like the next generation, whatever the hell it's called. That was like the 2000s one. The actual original 80s Degrassi, that I have that on DVD. That's the shit. That's the good Degrassi.
This is powerful. This is powerful. This right here is incredibly powerful because this is a telling moment about age because there are like two different classes of Degrassi. Like Degrassi,
there's like I think it's like 3 now or something.
Yeah, bro. After to be talking about the
there's 2 more.
2000s Degrassi, like that's not solidified. Like that's not an OG Degrassi. It's crazy. The 80s Degrassi.
No,
what year were you born, David?
That's the 85. I didn't watch it when it was on. I watched it when I was older, and I it was on like Showcase or whatever the hell channel it was on. But yeah.
Is that the Drake one, the original?
The Drake one is the 2000s one. It is the first one of the new ones. That's Drake's.
How many Degrassis are there?
Bro,
there was the one in the 80s, and they spent like 10 years gap, and then there was like a bunch of new ones.
There's old ass 80s Degrassi that nobody but David is invested.
That's the most popular one.
No,
that's the most popular one. It's not even close.
I'm looking this up.
The most popular
3.
No,
that's
bro.
I guarantee you that's the most popular.
2000s Degrassi, Paige, Jimmy, Ashley, Craig, Manny, Emma. That's the one. Come on. 80s Degrassi.
I was like in college when that was on. I'm not gonna watch Degrassi in college.
I was like in college when I think that's what this is really about. I wish y'all ever watch Inside is it Inside Out where they're in their mind with the emotions?
Yes.
Yes.
That's a good
movie.
Y'all remember that?
Before we leave Degrassi, I need to know how
we're not leaving Degrassi.
You all think there's no way all of you know how many Degrassi series there actually were. Like guess. I want to hear your numbers.
I do.
Wait, we mean seasons or do we mean like different groups of people?
Different television series.
I'm gonna say like 6.
The original Degrassi Next Generation, and then Degrassi Next Class. Yeah.
I think there's more, but
there's like 1 between them.
Yeah, I think like 6.
There's 1 between them.
I'm gonna guess 11. I have no idea.
so we have 11, 6.
I think it's
any other numbers? Is that
it? There's junior high, there's high. Those are the 2 of the 80s ones. Then there's the new generation. Then there's probably like 6.
Television series: The Kids of Degrassi Street, Degrassi Junior High, Degrassi High, Degrassi
some of those don't
Generation,
count.
Degrassi Next Class, Degrassi Cancelled. Then there was a web series called Degrassi Minis. Then there was a television special called Degrassi Talks.
That don't count.
There were not 1, not 2, but 3 films made for TV called Schools Out, Degrassi Goes Hollywood, and Degrassi Takes Manhattan.
I have Schools Out on DVD. It's good.
Y'all remember how the elephant in Inside Out? You remember the elephant? You remember it fades away, the pink elephant, they forget.
It's like 20 years ago. I don't know. Vaguely.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing to David right now in my mind as I continue to talk about real what makes sense about Degrassi.
You have no. There are insanely obsessed people with Degrassi, with the original Degrassi. They go to like the school that it was shot at. There's like a whole events like around this shit. It's a whole thing. I'm telling you.
Bro, I've never in my black ass life have I ever wanted to say okay boomer, but just now I heard it in my mind. I like ducked to the recesses of my mind for some ages shit to say. The whole ass up.
I wish there was a way to like properly like showcase the most popular Degrassi, but there probably isn't. I don't know.
A poll. I'm gonna poll it. We gonna poll it on the. I'm gonna poll it. I'm gonna do this. This is important.
I didn't include the novels or the graphic novels.
We don't need to do. Oh, there's graphic novels. Okay.
There's graphic
Anyways, what
novels.
happened in the news this week?
Right?
What kind of podcast is this?
I know. I'm completely out of
I
the loop.
appreciate everybody in the chat talking about 80s. Degrassi also mentioned in your age. That's really important. I love that. I like just not to make any arguments or comments, just to back up earlier claims levied by me as it comes to that particular viewpoint. Oh.
George Santos had his first kiss on Degrassi. Love it.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know it would show automatically. I have this Ben Shapiro clip. Want to watch this?
Yeah.
This is gonna be good.
I was being afraid there. I'm glad that at least some of these M&Ms will have nuts to represent the transgender community. So you have to ensure that some of the M&Ms are actual trans women. You wouldn't want these to be cisgender M&Ms.
He's so proud of
good
that
news.
joke.
Some of the
Yeah.
female M&Ms will in fact have nuts. The move is the latest in a series of marketing moves M&Ms has made to promote
Did you want to say
inclusivity.
something,
Its
Scarlett?
previous announcements involved
Sorry,
the
it's
introduction
kidding,
of the purple.
If the purple M&M is a trans woman because it has a nut, it's a nut M&M. Doesn't that mean like the red one's a trans man because it doesn't have a nut?
One can
By
make
his logic, yes.
There's no consistency to Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
Purple female M&M who represents body positivity and self-acceptance. Well, I'm sure M&M would love people to accept body positivity because you eat enough of them and you get fat. That is what they are. They are a candy. Early in 2022, Mars announced it would alter its mascots to reflect the more dynamic, progressive world we live in, saying the refreshed M&M's brand will include a more modern take on the looks of our beloved characters. So that's exciting. Mars Wrigley North America Chief Marketing Officer Gabrielle Wesley explained the move. Quote, women all over the world are flipping how they define success and happiness while challenging the status quo. So we are thrilled to be able to recognize and celebrate them. And who better to help us on that mission than our own powerhouse spokes candies, green, brown, and purple. Oh, so moving.
I can't
So
believe
incredible.
This is the show
So
people
unbelievably
watch.
stupid.
Right, yeah,
Women,
right.
do you feel represented now because of the green, purple, and brown M&Ms on the M&M package that you're guzzling down lonely in your apartment with your wine and your cat?
What?
How's that going for you?
He gets real
Amazing. But at
sexist
least
here,
you
like
feel
boomer
represented.
sexist.
Yeah, like he's like so giddy about his own commentary that he thinks he's hilarious, and
Right.
the jokes he's making are like, I don't know, sexist jokes from like 80 years ago.
Yeah,
That's the
they're too
important thing.
outdated for like my grandfather.
Mhm.
Honestly, I'm mostly just happy because if it's an all-female M&M, I assume that it costs 77 cents on the dollar of what the regular M&Ms would cost, right?
But
That's how this works. Also, do not ask the female M&Ms for directions.
Oh, okay, man.
It's just
Come
not going to go
on.
particularly well.
Right.
You can't be serious.
Like, how?
2023. Like,
Yeah, what?
1980s stand-up style sexism. You know?
Who even? We all have phones with maps. Like, who's asking for directions? This is so stupid.
Corporate America, man, filled with morons. But until there are alternatives, this is what we're going to have to suffer with. So I suppose we're going to have to launch Jeremy's Candy or something.
What are we suffering
To
with?
fight
Like,
with
eat
the
the
woke
fucking candy or
corporate
don't. Like, only you want to talk about the M&M marketing campaign. Like, what? Like, yo, when you think like, bro, you're a fucking loser. Like, what is like?
yeah.
What?
By the way, has Tucker Carlson reacted to this? Because do you remember when they redesigned the M&M and made them less sexy in 2022? Tucker Carlson was very mad.
object.
He was super
You did
into it.
object?
I'm not a loser, so I wasn't anywhere levying commentary about the M&Ms and what they decide. What they decide to do with their fucking cartoon M&Ms, like, cause nigga, really. But I will say the green and the brown M&Ms were always some bad bitches, and I didn't appreciate trying to take any of their drip. Like, I was like, oh, leave my girls. Like, I don't understand who asked for this. Like, why my bitches can't have their heels? They've been popping for decades. Why don't get on their agenda? But I understand that they are M&Ms. They are cartoon candy. And it doesn't matter what is done with them.
Exactly. That's the thing. These are just corporations that are trying to do whatever they think is going to be popular in the moment, and like not to Ben Shapiro's point, but just to like, this is what corporations do, right? But this is not like to get so outraged over a marketing campaign for M&Ms. Like, it's just, isn't there anything else going on? Like, how can anyone be so invested in this? And it was him, I think Matt Walsh, I think, also did a video. Like, this is the stuff
Tucker
they're
Carlson
focused on.
did a whole special about it.
Yeah. And also this week, don't forget the controversy surrounding the new Batman comics where Joker was pregnant. And this to them was very, very offensive because, of course, men can't get pregnant. Now, what's funny is I think it was Joe Concha. He was on Fox News explaining this. He's like, well, it's not like Joker is trans, so they're not pushing that, but it's still woke because the Joker has become the wokester because he's pregnant. Now, the way he actually admits the way that the Joker got pregnant was because
now
pregnancy is woke, but Joker got pregnant because of a curse. So it's not like the character is even trying to promote like LGBTQ plus people. He just like got pregnant because he was cursed by somebody else with special powers. And they were very mad about that. It's just, I love the world we're living in where this is American politics and this is what they focus on. It's great. Yeah.
And this is explanation.
Wow.
Oh, and the best part is that as they were talking about this image was on the side the whole time, basically. They kept going between this and another image, and it was great, just like somebody's head up Joker's crotch. And they were talking about how offensive it was.
Oh my God.
It was wonderful. I have a video coming out on Saturday. We talked about this on my Twitch stream. I love all the things that conservatives keep getting frustrated about. I don't know if you all followed the controversy surrounding big government coming to take your gas stoves, but they are convinced that somebody's going to show up at your door and they're going to take that fucking stove right out of your house. It's really great. All of this stemmed from one individual following the release of a study showing that they kind of increased the risk of asthma in children by like 13%. So it's really substantial, right? And so the Consumer Protection Agency announced that it was going to look into this or something like that, or even consider banning it. It made a relatively banal statement, but they took that as, oh, well, if you have a gas stove now, you're breaking the law, and this is the wokeness.
Or they're going to come and take your
deal.
gas stove, which they wouldn't do that. It would be grandfathered in.
Right.
It would be like they're not going to sell new gas stoves, if anything at all. I'd be surprised if they even do anything about this. But like, out of curiosity, how many of you have gas stoves versus like electric? Like, let's do
I have
gas
a gas
first.
stove.
I've rent though. It's not like I installed it. I'm gonna get canceled over this.
I've only ever had an electric stove, and it's been fine. I can boil water. I can make food. That's not a problem.
The gas
Some people claim
fire or no? I don't be cooking, so I have the other one then.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I'm not convinced that it's not a mistake to let Republicans distract us with this nonsense, because that's what it is. Like, right? It's always so stupid and comically stupid, and like we respond and we're like, oh my God, that's so fucking stupid. But it's like, are we not just helping these niggas like share this, propagandize this, make this like larger and louder? Because who would have known this foolishness? Because that's ultimately what it is. They want to distract from some other substantive conversation, and so the minute before you could even really get a peek on that, and then it's now okay. Now we talking about joke, gas stove. I said something, and now it's gonna be that.
They don't need our help because they set the narratives. Like they have the platforms, because they have so many billions of dollars behind them. We're talking even like venture, like small YouTube shows or ones that would appear to be small. We're talking about billionaire backers behind them, which is why we all know about them. So they're the ones that set the agenda, and then I know there's been studies on this. There's data showcasing this where whatever like Fox News is covering, then that ends up being what MSNBC and CNN end up covering. So they already set these, like we're already in the discussion.
But that's kind of my point, right? They're allowed. Yes, they set the discussion, but us responding to it and continue it, and that makes it become the discourse because we all jump on it, right? Like, do we hear about, like, of course, Fox News and all these people, and they tune into that and they're gonna say all their stupidness and da. But for the purpose of putting it onto the air, as much as they're peddling it amongst themselves and they're all eager, what they really want is for us to all be plugged into what is their discussion. And you don't really hear, there are people who don't hear about this shit until we bring it to them. You see what I'm saying? Like, if we don't have certain conversations, we help bring their things out of, and I obviously, I don't mean like us. We don't start it, right? Obviously, it already happened at MSNBC, these different places.
Oh yeah, I mean,
we all fall in line.
If I had power over MSNBC and CNN, I would not be impacted by Fox News at all. I would like just completely ignore whatever they're doing, whatever they're talking about, and set your own agenda for those networks. And yeah, I agree with you on that. On that, like that's what ends up happening.
My point with this, though, is I think that their biggest complaint is that these corporations have quote gone woke, and now they're just trying to appeal to demographics to score points or whatever that is. That's kind of a nightmare of their own design, because like no one would be talking about this on either side if they weren't actually getting outraged about it. It's kind of like people would just be like, have you ever bought candy based on the packaging since you were 9? Like, have you ever walked by and like, oh, the logo looks good on this one, time for this bar? Like, no one does that. Like, well, no adult does that. Children do that, but otherwise, none of us are buying candy based on how performative, the rainbow wash is on the logo or something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why also, I mean, that M&M conversation isn't really getting traction. I mean, except to laugh at it, as opposed to, like, to your point, as opposed to the stove conversation, which actually is getting traction because people like their gas stoves for whatever reason. Like, so it bothers them, the idea that they can't have it.
Before I forget this, I do want to say I saw that Sarah Huckabee Sanders is like making some waves and has passed some like great measures so far. They are culture war bullshit that help nobody. One of them is banning CRT in schools, which great, you banned a thing that isn't taught in elementary school already, so that one does nothing. And the other one was to ban the word Latinx. So it's kind of like the right has dominated the culture war outrage porn. Fine, you get that. That's your little treat, your toy. You can go play with that. But in terms of like actually doing things for voters or getting anything for the citizens who brought you to power, it's nothing. It's empty. It's a vessel, right? Like what good is that going to do for the average person if you don't teach a thing that wasn't taught?
People in Arkansas just can't stop saying Latinx. Good thing she.
I guess so.
Good thing she did this.
Yeah, there's like, how do I want to phrase this? Like, they do go above and beyond to just control the narrative, but I do think that matters to an extent. Like I talked about on this program, like on my show anyways, there's a bill from Oklahoma that they're trying to ban transitioning for anyone under the age of 26. And so if you've already transitioned, then you are forcibly going to have to detransition. And it's just one of the most draconian, vehemently, violently transphobic bills ever. But the question is like, how this probably isn't going to pass, but they're still doing it anyway. But I think that the fact that they even like introduced it, that still does I think that does matter, because, it sets the tone, and other states might want to follow on that. So this is something that I saw Aaron Reed, she's a really popular trans activist, talk about. Like, there's this debate about how much should we focus on all of these bills, because they're getting more ridiculous as time goes on, like the anti-trans bills, for example, not just with this issue, but other issues too, where they're not going to pass. Like House Republicans are passing abortion bans. So like, how much do you focus on this? And I do think that that's a pretty good question. And that's what I wanted to ask Scarlett about too, which is why I wanted to bring you on, because there is like, the bills are getting more ridiculous. Every single week there's a new bill. And last year there was like 300 plus anti-trans bills, or over the last 2 years, I should say. And even if some of them don't have a chance of passing, I do still think that it's harmful. But like, to what extent do we dwell on this as opposed to like a different issue?
Yeah, I disagree with the people who say that we shouldn't be worrying about these. And like, actually, the Oklahoma bill, I mean, well, there's more than one bill, but it's probably the riskiest situation in the country right now. I think they're the most likely to pass. They have 4, I think, anti-trans bills. Actually, I shared my screen earlier, but let me.
Oh yeah, sorry, I can bring that up.
What I had earlier is something different, but I can show you this legislative tracker. That's Alejandra Carabello.
Oh, this is helpful.
And this is all the anti-trans bills that are really proposed. She's been updating it like live, and
she's awesome.
Yeah, she's really great.
So you can see there's a lot. Just
Jesus
like
Christ.
Wow.
every day. I mean, a lot of this was proposed very recently, like over the past couple days. There's like 8 bills in Virginia. There's like, I think like 10 in Texas. And like, I mean, you can see this up here that counts them: gender affirming care ban 34, trans sports ban, so on. Yeah, there's an increasing boldness in terms of what they ban, because a lot of these basically ban trans people from existing.
Right.
Drag bans are just like, they're worded in a way to make it so that it's illegal to be a trans person who's observable by anybody. So it just bans you from existing outside of your house in any public space. Like, you can be in your house, they can't, they're not trying to ban you inside your home yet, but.
Yeah, what is the language that they used? I forgot who tweeted about this, but it was a specific drag ban that was so vaguely worded that it would end up extending to trans people. Because, I mean, I don't know if they don't know the difference between a drag person or somebody who does drag.
They absolutely know the difference.
Yeah,
they just want everybody together and they intentionally write it this way to make it so that it can be possibly applied to anybody. And if it gets overturned or something doesn't hold up in courts, whatever, they're just trying to harass people. So they already got that job done, even if all they do is get them arrested and then have the court dismiss it. But yeah, I mean, there's one in most of these states. So in terms of what the language is, it depends on which state you're talking about, but it's usually very broad and just says stuff like any sort of performance done by a person who is presenting in a gender that's not their assigned gender at birth. And like all these bills define it too. Actually, I could go to Virginia one because I did read through this. Yeah, they don't ban drag shows, but they do like define, what your gender at birth is in the law. And like, that's the other thing is that they're all of these bills require a definition for sex and gender. And they basically all attempt to redefine it in a way that undoes your sort of, your legal side of transitioning. All of the birth certificate changes and ID changes are basically undone because the law then starts to say, like, instead of your birth certificate, it says it has to match your birth certificate as it was originally issued when you were born. So if you get it amended, it doesn't matter, basically.
Jesus. Do you know, is there any... oh, sorry, go ahead, David.
I was going to say, is there anything that could have been done while Democrats had the majority to prevent states from doing this, like enshrine these rights into law? Is there any way to stop this? I'm asking because this is going to be an ongoing issue, right? Like they're going to continue trying to do this in various ways until they simply cannot do it because of whatever law is in place that prevents them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to some extent. I mean, like, this is, I think, a culture war issue that they were going to bring up at some point eventually, like inevitably, because this is what the right always does. They have to use a divide and conquer strategy. Anytime they lose the majority, they have to divide the other side, and they've gone through a bunch of things. And like gay marriage or gay rights is acceptable enough to older people that they need to demonize something else. And so like trans people were just the next logical thing, especially since by demonizing trans people, you can also like demonize gay people by association, which is what we see. And yeah, I don't know that there's anything that Democrats could have specifically passed that would have prevented this sort of backlash. I think it would have been better if they were more vocal about pushing back on things. I mean, like Democrats, I haven't heard very many of them, and very many elected officials point out that, there is an ongoing movement to just harass queer people. I don't know. Has Biden ever mentioned lives of TikTok or like what's going on with Twitter? Like this sort of moral panic stuff, it gets created by media. It's not like we don't know what causes this stuff. It's happened before. It's the media that's allowing this to happen. I mean, Twitter is now just a cesspool of hatred.
And it's a problem. Sorry, and it's gotten worse since Elon's taken over. Like the amount of I had Don Jr. recommended to my Twitter timeline like several times this week. I'm like, all right, I got to mute this guy. This is ridiculous. Like, what's going on here? And I never get recommended to anyone on the left. Like, it's gotten
never.
And now Ken Klippenstein's getting like ghosted on Twitter. Like
search banned.
Yeah, search banned. This is an ongoing.
I'm also getting I'm unfollowing. My account is unfollowing other leftist accounts, and I see nothing but right wingers on my feed. Matt Walsh, Marjorie Taylor Greene, all the time. And then certain leftists that I follow, I don't see. Like I was unfollowed by Good Politic guy, and I'm sure it was a glitch because I followed him, and then like an hour later, it unfollowed him again. So something fucked up is happening. But like when it comes to the algorithm, it's certainly pushing more right-wing content. So yeah, Twitter has gotten worse. One thing that I really wanted to ask Scarlett was, for me, I'm always careful about like my language when I talk about trans issues, and I don't want to be too hyperbolic because I don't want to make people or give people the sense that like, oh, he's trying to embellish and be hysterical. But like, when do we start using the genocide word with the GOP? Because like that's where we're at, where it feels like they literally want a genocide against trans people. I mean, these bills are erasing them from existence legally. There's eliminationist language spoken just plainly on right-wing television. Like, do you think it's too hyperbolic to say genocide?
No, I've been telling my family that, you know, we have a movement to genocide trans people in this country for maybe a year now. I mean, like, it is genocidal. And some of the things that I didn't mention was these gender affirming care bans, a lot of them in that document are for minors. But a lot of them seek to expand the definition of minor because they want to ban it for everyone. So some of them, and one of them in Virginia, bans care up to the age of 21. It's another bill somewhere else in the country, I forget where, that goes all the way up to age 25. And I've seen people online arguing that your brain's not even fully developed till you're 30. So that's when you're an adult. And so they just want to really ban it for everyone. And they know that, like, you know, they pretending you don't know what you're doing is a really common and powerful tool.
Yeah.
And like they know that by banning this sort of healthcare, they're going to not only just cause suicides to increase, but they are literally killing people because there are people who need hormones. Once you've had certain surgeries, you need hormones to stay alive. And by making it so that they're not going to have that means that you're directly impacting their health. And if it goes on long enough, they will die from it. So like,
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. If you have your testicles removed, then you need to have estrogen.
Right. Yeah, and I'm to the point where before I used, and I talked about this on the show before too, like I would try to lay out all the facts, give them the studies, like, okay, for when it comes to trans youth, gender affirming care decreases suicide by X amount. But it's evident now they literally don't care. Like they know that at this point, like they know, and the goal is to eliminate them. So of course, if they see that like trans kids are going to kill themselves, I think that they want that literally. And that might seem like overly cynical, but that's genuinely what I believe at this point.
I mean, that is what it is. Like that's just a reality. I say it's a mistake all the time to approach GOP nonsense and their propaganda campaigns and things like this as though it's legitimate or it's culture wars or any of this nonsense. At the end of the day, the way power is created and maintained is by subjugating other. You know what I mean? There has to be somebody to subjugate. And the way you do that is by manufacturing consent in society. And obviously, we've seen larger shifts in social consciousness that make it harder to attack certain groups, right? Like we're more in the room. If you do certain things you say certain things to Black people, there's likely somebody there. You do certain things to women, there's likely somebody there. You say certain things about what is your standard person they think of as a gay person, there's somebody there. But if there's a trans person, very often they're not present. There isn't a seat at the table, so it's easier to get people to get on board with ostracizing something that you're convincing them is a unicorn or is not there. So it allows them to say, okay, all this bigotry that you weren't receiving so popularly, all the other things we usually rally around, right? The country's more pro-choice than ever before. The country's more pro-gay marriage. The country's more pro-gay relationships. So like Scarlett said, yeah, it's easier. It's an easier target, and that's all it's about. And they know something I think that's important to remember, and all of these things have combined is they know that what they're saying is misinformation. They know it's incorrect. They know what they're peddling. That's factual. Whenever Tucker Carlson, any of these things get taken to court, the first thing they do is go, "What? Hey, reasonable minds at the table. We all fucking know that we're not being dead ass. That's for those fucking idiots out there. They have an obvious agenda, and that's why when they see, okay, people are finding new channels, new ways, Twitter, social media, these independent shows, new ways to get new information out there, to challenge these things, to shift social consciousness. They say, let's find a way to prevent that, because they know that if the information is actually there, more people hear it. Let's actually just cut off those channels altogether. That's why you see a concerted effort to get books out of there. And they coax it as, oh, critical race theory and all this. Really, no. Let's get all that shit out of there. Everything that we think is contributing to opening people's eyes. You heard them just the other day when they defined what they see woke is. That's what they see it is. They see it as, okay, people are being informed about the things, people are receiving the truth, and that is not going to help us justify, get this consent for the bigotry that we need to be able to implement on somebody in order to maintain our power. So they say, you know what, let's do it on who they don't know as much about yet. We've had, the LGBT movement, especially as far as just gay, lesbians, bisexual, has grown exponentially in terms of what is our regular public social consciousness awareness. That's been happening. So they're like, okay, what do they know less about? What is much easier to stigmatize? What haven't they gotten the info out there about yet? Trans people, and shut that shit down. Shut all the info out, sub the books, get the laws, do it before they know anything about it, because that allows us to continue doing what we've been doing. It's just a concerted campaign to continue the same bigotry they've been doing since Jump Street.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's easy too to, as Scarlett was saying, like they went from gay to trans just because that's logical, and it's easy because you just have to copy and paste. Like literally the same things that they argued against gay people, they're now arguing against trans people, and the parallels are so evident. Like there's even like there was an ex-gay movement. Now there's detransitioners, and the detransitioner proportions are very small. And a lot of them who do detransition, they do so because of like social stigma, but like the right will latch onto those people in the same way that the ex-gays were brought on to delegitimize queer people and whatnot.
Also, by the way, like those detransitioners, just like the ex-gays, not trans anymore.
Right. And one of them, I'm blanking on their name, was like the darling of the detransition movement, but came out as trans once again. I did a video on them.
What motivates that? Like, I don't.
There's a
online. They got radicalized online. But sorry, go ahead.
Like people get, sort of pushed out of the queer community, and then they seek like another community, and there's a group of bigots looking to take that opportunity. Basically, is what it comes down to. And I mean, a lot of these people are sad and depressed and maybe even have mental issues, and like they're being given an opportunity to be famous and make money and have a bunch of friends supporting them. Like, I don't know, it's a good deal if you feel like a total loser.
Yeah. It pays to throw your own community under the bus too. I mean, look at Dave Rubin, look at Blair White. The shit that they say is completely ridiculous. Like, I have no doubt in my mind that they don't believe the things that they say. Like even Blair White, she made some tweet about how something about they think that 5-year-olds can change their gender, when she was on Joe Rogan. And what did she say when he asked her? She's like, oh, well, around 5, that's when I realized that I was a girl. It's like, so that they're literally lying on purpose just for a check. It's the most disgusting thing ever, because I could never imagine like throwing my own community under a bus just for a check. It's like the most egregious thing ever. Like, I almost not respect, but like appreciate the people who just hate us because they fucking hate us, not the ones who are doing it for a check, because at least that's authentic, right? Like it's so craven.
It's infuriating. It's like the most pathetic thing in the world. I have no respect for any detransitioners on that cloud game. Grift game.
When did that Rogan thing happen? I want to check that one out. That's pretty crazy.
Maybe a year or so?
Pretty incredible.
Yeah, it was like a year ago or so, I think.
Wow,
yeah. I might have even done a video about this because it was just such a huge like hypocrisy moment where it's like, oh my god, did you not remember saying this? Because like for me, like I always like kind of have the same story. I don't change my story when I talk about coming out. I came out at 22, realized I was different when I was like 5 years old. So it's not like if she talked about her experience, how do you not remember that you mentioned that part? Because it's just.
Yet they continue on grifting somehow. They stay relevant even though they've been exposed for being full of shit. Like that's what I'm like, Mike. If you were caught in some kind of like you got your story wrong somehow along the line, some Jimmy Dore fans would have found it and like exposed you. Be like, look at you lie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
but career over. Meanwhile, you have these high profile individuals in conservative media just exposed again and again and again, and they maintain and they get more popular. The whole thing is wild to me that they're able to maintain their audience.
Yeah,
and then every now and then you'll get like a Dave Rubin who just gets devoured by the leopards. You know, like sometimes I do genuinely feel bad for him, but wow, it is vicious. It's like, yeah, we had a couple of children with a surrogate, and it's like, well, you're burning in hell now. Yeah, there is no forgiveness for you in the very circle you've carved out for yourself. Everyone hates you now, and I was just like, this is just intense.
Yet he is still claiming that the left are the ones that are intolerant. Meanwhile, like his whole audience is like turned on him. Like it's so crazy.
Yeah. That was a debacle that it made me feel bad to get so much enjoyment out of that, but oh my god, I was eating that shit.
Did you watch him go on the Glenn Beck show where he had to do his penance as the one good gay, where he was just like, Glenn Beck actually compared being gay to alcoholism. He's like, I'm an alcoholic, you're homosexual and a sodomite. I was like, oh my god, why are you not screaming at this man or spitting on him through the screen? Like, what is going on?
Well, and you could literally, that moment, you could see it in Dave Rubin's eyes. The soul went out, like the flame extinguished right there, because know, like every single gay person probably has that moment where they come out when they're young and they're told by their auntie or parent it's a phase, and well, we all have flaws, I'm an alcoholic, we've all heard that shit. So to him to have to hear that in his 40s, it's got to be soul crushing. But he fucked around a little bit. He memed a little bit too close to the sun. He didn't remember that the extent to which the right allows you to exist in that space as an out gay man, and the same is true for trans women as well, is you cannot remind them that you're actually gay. Like, they don't want to see you with your husband. They don't want to remember that you have families.
Ben Shapiro will not cook the birthday cake. He won't even give him the wedding cake. The wedding cake. Yeah, Ben Shapiro refuses to. And he actually, Ben Shapiro, that one's even worse than Glenn Beck. He was straight up like, Dave's like, would you have me and my husband over for barbecue? He's like, well, if I had a barbecue, would you come over to my house? And he's like, it's not going to be gay. It's not going to be really gay. And he's like, well, how
like,
gay? How gay? I was like, that's so savage.
Yeah, you got to remember your place.
Colleague. Yeah.
Well, it's like you are there specifically, Dave Rubin, so you can tell them that their homophobic beliefs and policies are not homophobic. That's your only role. The second you deviate out of that line, they slap you back down. And he keeps trying to make it seem as if, oh no, the left's the ones, they're the least tolerant, and he wants us to think that he'll be accepted by the right. But these evangelicals are never going to accept you. They are literally using you. I mean, Dennis Prager said to Dave Rubin's face, he's so useful. I mean, take a fucking hint. So that's why, to me, like, I enjoyed that whole drama when he got just bashed by his own fans, because it's like, I never thought leopards would eat my face. I love it so much.
It just makes me think at that time, I don't know if you've seen it, where Blair White was like on some conservative panel show. And I don't remember who it was. It was
with John Doyle, and then a really scary, like, white blonde kind of like, Karen, but with like fire in her eyes. Because he was like the conservative who was straight up like, you should not exist. Like, I don't want to be around you. Yeah.
Holy shit.
That was hard to watch.
If you really want to help the conservative movement, or if you want, I can't remember how she phrased, but something like, if you really want to help, then you should start going by a male name, grow out your mustache, and cut your hair. Just told her to detransition.
Did she defend herself?
No,
it was basically
like, sorry. Go ahead. I was just gonna say she's kind of just shocked, but.
Wow. See, Blair White, that's kind of karma, honestly. And I don't feel bad for her, because she was on a Vice panel, I think it was, and she was talking about how non-binary people are delegitimizing the trans movement because people don't get it. And I'm paraphrasing. So she basically said that same thing to a non-binary person on the panel, like not in that exact way, but that was the same sentiment. So I love that somebody told her that, just because, like, it's karma. You said the same thing to non-binary people, and in the same way that you try to delegitimize their identities, conservatives who you claim to be friends with are trying to delegitimize you. This is why, like, I've got no love for these grifters, and anytime it blows up in their face, I feel like morally it's imperative that I celebrate that. I don't feel bad at all.
You know what's wild is that Blair White used to have purple hair and be kind of like non-binary looking, and
I didn't know this.
I think she even used to used to turn non-binary maybe, and then she had like a conservative turn, and her style completely changed.
Interesting.
Money will do a lot to people, I think.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
sad.
it's like I said, with getting alienated too, and I think that's a huge part of it. I don't know if that happened to her, but when you look at Buck Angel, like Buck, when I first got on Twitter, I was following Buck Angel because I only knew him as a porn star, and like for the first year, it was like he was whatever. Like he didn't say anything. He didn't really post that much. He didn't seem to have that many terrible views. That at least I didn't see them. And then the show with ContraPoints went down, and like he started getting all this negative attention, and he got like way worse. And now he's like on his bio, it says something like a female who lives as a man, and like stop using like he him pronouns. Let's like everybody call him a woman or whatever.
He doesn't even use he him pronouns.
I think they're like voluntary now.
Well, and I didn't really know about Buck Angel until the whole ContraPoints controversy. So that was like my first experience with it. But what stands out in my mind is the way that he was groveling at J.K. Rowling's feet, basically, in a tweet. I don't remember the tweet specifically, but she tweeted some transphobic bullshit, predictably. And both Blair White and Buck Angel were both like yas queening J.K. Rowling. And I can't handle this. Like it's gonna make my head explode.
Yeah, I had to unfollow and mute that guy. Like, even as a hate follower, I couldn't, like, it's hard to watch.
Yeah, it is. Because it's sad. Like, that deep down, they are either doing it to like gain popularity or friendships, or they're distraught. Either way, like, something isn't right. Like, they don't feel good about what they're saying. There's no way, because it's so absurd from their perspective. I just don't believe it. Like, I refuse to accept that they believe their own bullshit.
Yeah. As you were saying though, Scar, like, is it possible that they get inundated with this hatred, like this pylon that then makes them dig the hole even deeper? Like
it's something like that, yeah. Like
which makes me question: is there like just a question? Is there something to the idea that if someone, I don't know, like, do we pile on too much? Is the internet too negative in that sense? Like, is there any fault?
Are you going to do the Cody Johnson meme? The one
no,
where
I'm just
like,
is there any
was
fault
mean to me, so I changed all my beliefs? And
no, not that. I'm obviously not excusing people that are terrible people, but is there something to the idea that if that weren't there, would these people not have turned to the or go as deep as they have gone? Which is just like, I don't know. I mean, same thing like. We discussed Matt Taibbi as well. Like, it was a similar situation where he may have felt a bit of a pylon after some comments from that book came out, and then he became even more right wing. Not to excuse their behavior, just to help explain it, and wonder, like, would they have made that turn if that had not happened?
I think it is a mistake for us to approach these things as though people are operating in sincerity and good faith, and that's not the truth. As frustrating as it is, because it's no different than the Coons of the world, the Ben Carsons, the Herschel Walkers, and blah, 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 who come out and say all this racist, anti-Black stuff and become agents of white supremacy because they think it benefits them. It's the same way, right? Like Derek Bell, who's the founder of critical race theory, he has a concept he talks about in his book, Faces at the Bottom of the Well, called Rules of Racial Standing. But it's basically the idea that if I, as a Black person, I become, in order to tokenize myself, to ingratiate myself with the white people who I think is the majority, or where I can get most benefit, if I say the things that do not benefit my group, so they can say, so they're able to legitimize their white talking points and say, well, they said it. If I do that, will they curry me enough favor so much as to benefit from me? That's what you do, right? It's the whole concept of the coon. And that's no different than we find other words for it, grifter, this, blah, blah, blah. But that's all it is. People that are ultimately deciding, I have something to gain. Like, while it is not advantageous, to the whole, I have something to gain in doing this. And so I'm going to do this at the expense of this community. It's a grift. We see it all the time. And to an earlier point y'all made, it's the reason why there's an accepted, I feel like we just don't acknowledge the elephant in the room, that the right knows that they're insincere. They know it. That's why they're able to get caught in a million different scandals and hypocrisy, and it doesn't matter because it never fucking mattered. It's all about, pretense, doing what you got to do, further and overall things. but a lot of it is insincere. And I think there's also something to remember in terms of when we look at commentators and pundits and stuff. It's a mistake to take these people as representatives of a movement, and that's what the right intentionally does, right? This person that is here actively speaking against the trans community, even though they're a trans person, and like blowing your fucking mind. This person is not somebody, obviously, is not a person intellectually invested in this movement. They are not an organizer out in the world. You know what I mean? They are one individual fucking person that's choosing a lane and a carve out for themselves to get ahead. And that's all that it really fucking is. You know, that's what it is. It has nothing to do with, oh, we pile on me this. There are all kinds of things and all that to be explored. Yes, the internet is a shitty place. But as somebody, listen, as somebody I spent my every fucking day concerned about the liberation of Black people. And I could tell you, I could find all kind of threads of Black people talking bad about me. I could find threads of everybody talking bad about me. You could find your own camp talking bad about your shit. We can't put up the flyer for the leftist mafia without people who follow me talking shit that we not this right. Like every time, right? You get shit talk, but if you are a principled person, if something is what you ultimately care about, those are your principles, those are your beliefs, that shit's not gonna matter. So that ain't got nothing to do with the price of tea in China. At the end of the day, what they're doing is as simple as this. Get in where I fit in. That's all it is. They are trying to get in where they fit in and fuck the rest of everybody else.
Yeah. Good point. I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you want to also, Ole, you wanted to bring up a couple of things as well. Let me go to our...
It was, I'm very frustrated. Honestly, I mean, don't say I'm frustrated because I expect these things, right? But the concerted attack on bail reform is a constant thing, in everywhere, right? In New York, in Chicago, and everywhere. And the thing about this is bail reform happened in New York City in 2020, at the top of 2020. It has been incredibly successful by all metrics. The whole purpose of bail, they try to use bail. Politicians and the media will stoke you into believing that bail is a tool to be used to circumvent the entire criminal process, to convict and incarcerate and punish people who have not had a trial or been convicted of a crime, right? But bail is there to ensure that people return to court. That's the purpose. That's the legal purpose of bail. Since bail has been instituted, the failure to appear rate has gone down. So again, has been successful. The actual rearrest, less than 2%. Less than 2% of all people out since bail reform have been rearrested. All statistics and metrics show that bail reform is not linked to any rise in crime. And additionally, said crime waves that they had manufactured in the first place, they have now since come out. All of the New York Times and everybody, and Governor Hochul herself in her own op-ed she penned, acknowledged that such crime wave never existed, and bail reform is not linked to it. And yet, constantly, despite the fact that we know this, we have Rikers that is already a human rights crisis. We had more deaths than ever last year, and now we're already at 19 deaths, way more than last year when we thought it was a human rights crisis then. And instead of doing anything to decarcerate and to figure out that problem, here they are now. After she just barely won. There was no red wave anywhere else, but it was in New York City because these jackasses, the Democrats, was out here leaning into all like, it's one thing to have the right wing talking nonsense. It's another thing to have your mayor be a cop that's talking the nonsense the loudest. Like Lee Zeldin and them literally could just lean on Eric Adams' rhetoric. So these fucking idiots are just peddling this fucking narrative. They're never actually coming out and addressing and debunking this nonsense. But no, bail reform, don't say nothing. And at the 9th hour, who got all the AOCs, the organizers, everybody gonna come out and try and actually, say the actual information. They come out at the 9th hour to say, oh yeah, not this, not that, and they just barely win. And the first thing this motherfucker does is start trying to undo all the successful things and the things that are supported. She's fighting right now to have this terrible appointee LaSalle who is anti-union, anti-choice in New York City. Do you know what kind of bigotry you have to be on to be anti-choice, anti-union in New York fucking City? Bro, like, what? Like, what? I didn't even know that I was like, anti-choice. Like, look where you're at. Okay, capital hedonism. What are we talking about?
Read the city.
I'm saying, and that's what she's doing, and literally no support. She's getting no support. Your entire party is against the choice. Everybody, every senator, every council member, everyone is coming and announced the choice, and she is finding out every way to double down. And I'm like, you have to be respectfully. a jackass because nothing else makes sense. You almost got your ass whooped by a Republican in New York City. Hey.
Maybe she thinks she was too far left. That's why.
Except
radical postmodern.
She knows that's not the case. She knows that's not the case. The first thing she fucking did. Nope. Actually, nope. Already has been acknowledged. It's not the case. Came out too late on that. She already knows it because the first thing she did, she had her stats to drop, and they brought out her stats is after she put out that she wanted to attack bail reform and she wanted to lead to 25,000 more arrests, and that's when her approval ratings went down. She comes out and she penned a op-ed for the New York Daily News, come say all the bail reform and all the things we've been telling her, whatever, to try and get back Curry favor. And then now, once you get her spot, let me come out now and talk shit. Let me talk a whole bunch of shit. And it's stupid. And that is where I'm at. And I am exhausted. So, yeah.
New York is
you know what I
fucked.
Think, you know what I think it is? I think she's so used to being Andrew Cuomo's lieutenant governor. And she was used to seeing how he ran the show. And so she thought she could come in and do the same. But she doesn't realize that Andrew Cuomo was like a fucking mafia boss.
Yeah.
And he literally was pulling strings with all, like, going through back channels with all different groups.
Exactly.
Talking with the New York Republicans and making sure they had his back. He was talking with the Democrats and making sure they had his back. And he was using the Republicans' votes to protect him.
100%.
Said, I can't do this, progressives. And he was using the deals he had with the Democrats to go back and say, I tried to be more moderate, but I couldn't because of the Democrats.
Yep.
He was playing it every which way because he made sure he was always protected because he was an operator like that.
100%.
He was a fucking mafia boss. He knew how to play the game of politics.
And he been in this, and that's my thing.
Yeah.
She's been like she's that guy and she's not that guy.
She's not.
You have no support. You can't be doing this. Like, you cannot be doing this. You're by the skinny of your teeth. You're by the skinny of your teeth. Not anti-union, not New York City, sweetie. Hold on. Because now that's not just the lefties that's gonna be upset. You playing with the union? Oh, okay.
And also, I don't think I need to say this, but this isn't like me saying anything nice about Andrew Cuomo. This is just the facts. Like, that's who he was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't think that was an endorsement. No.
That's facts.
Yeah.
No, that's facts. Obviously, like, listen, Andrew Cuomo, I actually started tweeting because of how much I fucking hate Andrew Cuomo, because he was the first person. No, I swear to God.
That's awesome.
My Twitter was Papa Slime, and he started trying to roll back bail reform at the top of the pandemic, and my job was like, oh, y'all should say something about it or whatever. And you literally trying to make my life harder. You trying to incarcerate my clients. So that's why I started tweeting. So I was on some fuck Andrew Cuomo shit every day in the middle of when he was getting peddled out as as America's sweetheart. You remember that little? Yo, I was upset. My mother was fighting with me like, that's my boy. My mother was like, that's my boy. That's my boy. Don't. I'm like,
no.
Ooh,
I bet she was enjoying the CNN segments when he had his brother on, and just like,
bro,
the two of them back to back.
He was ready to go to war about Andrew Cuomo like every day. Like, I was hot, heated. I'm like, mommy, I'm not asking you. I'm fucking telling you, mommy. I live here. My mommy is in the Bahamas, ready to die about some Andrew Cuomo trying to tell me what reality is in New York. I'm like, oh, my veins in my neck. I'm like, mommy, like, oh my god. So I'm just like, bro. It was so long. Andrew Cuomo had so much like around him. It was so hard for them to bring Andrew Cuomo down. Like, that was a feat. I don't know if they celebrated it quite.
It was
as much
cancel culture, as he says. Cancel culture.
Bro, they really listen. They really got on his ass, and I was like, yes, excellent, because couldn't stand him. But my point is, you ain't got none of that, girl. You are not America's sweetheart. You don't have no fine ass brother to come pedal you out on no show. Like, what's up, miss? What are you doing? They don't like you like that. You barely won. You're not polling high. This is a sexist world, miss. Like, oh my gosh.
That period was so bad. Do you remember the song Cuomo Sexual?
Oh my god. You're bringing up
still
things that
YouTube.
I forgot.
It's still on YouTube. It's so bad.
Chris Cuomo is fine, though. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit up here and knock above the facts. Like, I'm not gonna lie in that man's name. He's fine. This
is about Andrew Cuomo.
Like, right. But he's trifling too, right? He did some fucked up shit too, right? He was out here. Yes, the fact that he was trotting out his brother and covered him. I just want to say this again. Always a principled bitch. Despite him being fine, I was on his ass about that from Jump Street. I was like, this is not okay. This is not ethical. I was like, nobody but me sees how this isn't ethical. Like,
he brought his brother on his show and called him the best politician in the country. That's what. Like,
Yeah.
I remember covering that. It was so insane how this was allowed to happen. Like that should have got him fired. Like that. Like having your brother on, propping him up. And this is wild, by the way. Like
eating it up. America was not even just America.
This is while he was killing elderly people, and he wasn't he sending the elderly to like I forget what it was, like hospitals or some facilities that had COVID, and he was like giving them COVID
in the nursing homes.
Yeah.
It's a monster, a fucking monster.
Terrible person.
Like,
Yeah, I do like how you said he was sending them to hospitals and giving them COVID. Totally like, Granny, you're taking the shot of COVID, damn it. No, he was sending them to nursing. They were getting sick. They were going to the hospital. They were testing positive for COVID, and they were being sent back to the nursing homes. And they were basically just turning nursing homes into a petri dish of old people with COVID. Yes. And he tried to hide it. They tried to cover it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was mad death, too. It was mad death. No wickedness, absolute pure wickedness, son. Andrew Cuomo, long before I was hating on Eric Adams, I was on Cuomo's ass, son. Like, I was on Cuomo and de Blasio like white on rice. I fucking couldn't stand him. Ooh, I hated Cuomo. I hated that motherfucker. Let me tell you, Cuomo became my enemy. He became my enemy when he snuck into like a emergency COVID relief package at the beginning of the lockdown. He snuck in a bail reform rollback. I was like, this son of a bitch. And it's this son of a motherfucking bitch, son. At the time. Think about at the time. Like, think about at the beginning of the pandemic, the lockdown, when you felt scared. Like, when you don't know what the fuck is happening, you felt scared, bro. Like, it felt very eerie, very scary. And I'm thinking, like, my clients, like, imagine being in fucking Rikers. You've been in there now a year, 2 years, like, already behind closed doors, like, and you have not had a trial. You haven't had a hearing. You pre-trial. You've already been in Rikers. And now a fucking pandemic. Everyone is scared. Shit is shut down. No one, the corrections up is ghost town. People are like panicking. You are in a pandemic. You are inside of Rikers where that's raging. And you are the motherfucker who is what was I, 27, 26, that has to be on the receiving end of the phone call of that person. You have to, and the stress of trying to get that person out and the fear of that. And I'm like, no, you literally, it's one thing theoretically, I know you want to put more people in jail, but now I know you literally are doing it. Now I have to figure out and deal with the stress and anxiety of like, how the fuck, I'm scared my goddamn self. I don't know what's going, like, blah, blah, blah. I hate that son of a bitch. Like, and he had people incarcerated at Rikers and upstate, like making the hand sanitizer, but they couldn't use it. The hand sanitizer they selling, and I hate this motherfucker. You have no idea. Like,
straight evil, just like evil. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, there's levels of corruption and self-serving behavior, but that is he's evil. He's straight up evil.
And let me tell you something. Ain't got shit on Eric Adams. That's the evil son of a bitch. That right there. Eric
You think he's worse?
Monster, son. Like, and let me tell you, I want to just say this. I fucking knew he would be. I knew it. I knew it. I remember on New Year's the last year when who was it? Like Andy Cohen and them was like drunk as fuck. Being like, "Whoa, de Blasio was out
yeah.
I literally quoted. I could say, let me tell you, that's one of my best age tweets. I was like, this would be great if I did not know that Eric Adams is about to make de Blasio look like child's play. And child's play he did. Child's play he did. You know what's the only thing worse? The only thing worse than a cop in a world of white people that want all the same things as the conservatives. They just want to package it differently. They want a lot of the status quo. The only thing worse than that is a fucking black cop. So they could feel like, diversity. They're like, ooh, we got, listen. I'm like, ooh, nigga, a black cop. I was like, listen, my heart could have stopped. Like, I knew it. And he does not disappoint. That motherfucker is evil. Derek Adams, earlier last year, in like the first quarter of the year, like there were like 3 deaths within the space of a week at Rikers back to back because of corrections officers' negligence. Eric Adams goes and says, "Oh, I'm gonna take a trip to Rikers," and goes to Rikers and says, "I'm here to show my support to the corrections officers. I want to let you know they're trying to shame you, but I am not ashamed of you. I am proud of you." They watched the motherfucker choke to death on an orange on video. They like on video, bro. Like they left a guy hanging. Like, bro, this motherfucker went up there talking about, don't mind what they talking about. Y'all's my niggas. Don't even worry about that. A monster. Then NYPD shot an 18-year-old in traffic, and Eric Adams said, "Well, cars can be weapons, so they have to deal with people as though they could be a terrorist."
So
They said, "Eric Adams, we outlawed, we made it illegal. Solitary confinement is over. Word on the street is y'all are still using solitary confinement." And people are right, because this motherfucker Eric Adams said, no, sweetie. It's not solitary confinement. It's restrictive housing.
No,
Oh
stop.
my god.
Yo, you know what makes me sick? He gives it up like a Tyler Perry villain. Like he make me fucking sick. Like he does the kind of shit me and my best friend like do for jokes. Like that would be fucking hilarious. Like in your mind, like, hey, no, nigga, yeah, watch this. Not solitary confinement. Restrictive house. But this motherfucker's doing it for real, bro. And nobody's real. Nobody's even hearing the comedy stylings. It's just me mad somewhere like the fucking Grinch on Mount Crumpet, pissed the fuck off. Like, what the fuck?
That's like enhanced interrogation. Like that's so not draconian. It's Orwellian. Like the double speak. It's just so brazen. By the way, I did share a video in the chat that you all would appreciate since we're talking about cops. I mentioned it last week. It's the Sailor Moon video, and I know you all would appreciate it. So before the end, we've got to watch it. But sorry.
I'll get it ready.
Yeah, it's very good. If you're a fan of anime and you have the ACAB spirit within you, I think that you can appreciate it. I got a good chuckle out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, we still got like 10 minutes on here, right?
Yes. What tea time with Ole starts at 7:30 p.m. PST, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Yes. Can y'all put the link in the public chat? I'm talking. My guest is my best friend Nia JL, very dope employment labor lawyer. We are talking mess though. Meg, Tori, Will Smith, Chris Rock slap, Neo side baby, things that I love and excite me. And obviously we will be talking to the callers. I am going to take time to get questions from everybody and interact with y'all because y'all know I love that. It's gonna be great. It's going to be fun.
Nice.
So go on there.
I love Neo. Neo's in my top 10 R&B singers.
Listen, Neo be having babies on his woman.
He needs to stop.
So before we start wrapping up, is there a topic that we didn't touch on before we get to canceled, uncanceled?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can someone put the link?
Oh, okay. My chat is telling me that I was muted, and I was like, I just restarted everything. I think I'm okay.
No, you're good. I can hear you fine.
Now.
If someone knows how to put things in the public chat, can y'all put my call-in link for tea time in there for me? Because I don't know how.
Yeah, can you post it in the private and I'll put it in the YouTube chat?
Yes, let me do that. Oh shit.
I can post in there if I can find that link.
Oh, and before we end up forgetting, I don't know if we kind of stopped doing shout outs, but if you want to shout yourself out, but we'll give Scarlett the opportunity since she's our guest this week. Scarlett, tell us where we can find you. I know you kind of did earlier, but like give us all your socials and whatnot.
Yeah, you can find me at Twitter on Twitter at queer_money. On Twitch, my show is never_log_off, and the other one's never game_over. And yeah, you can find me on there or my personal Twitch, and also on OnlyFans.
Nice. Yeah, and Never Log Off is fucking amazing. I've been on, and the stuff that you all introduced me to, I would never see it had it not been for your show. Funny shit. So yeah, check them out on Twitch.
Yeah.
And I'll link to I'll add your links below this video as well on YouTube so people can easily find it.
Thank you.
Okay, dropping Ole's call. Oh, David already beat me to it. Okay. Well, now there's 2 different links. So there's no excuses. You have to go and listen to.
Yes, it's gonna be fun.
Time.
Fun. Like obviously less serious, but fun.
All right, so well, let's do Mike's video.
Yes, I'm
Actually,
very excited.
are we
for
also
those.
going to do? Are we doing Don Jr. as well? It's illegal, but it's still effective.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's up to you all.
It's highly effective.
I'd rank Sailor Moon higher in salience in terms of what I want you all to see, and then Don Jr. I have like a whole playlist for you all. Fuck.
Oh, so you want Sailor Moon first? All right, we can do that.
Yeah, that one. It's pretty quick.
Let me bring this
Marie
in.
Presley. She just died.
Who died?
Who died?
Lisa Marie Presley? I don't know. My mom just sent that to me.
Oh, Elvis's
Lisa
daughter,
Marie
Oh.
who dated John Travolta, I think.
Huh. She wasn't even that old. 54.
Oh yeah, that's not old.
Tim Pool's going to say it was the vaccine. Give him 2 seconds. I guarantee it. Oh, by the way, can I just quickly say, we didn't talk about this as a topic. I wanted to, though. They are taking every single spontaneous death that is happening and saying that it's the vaccine.
Yeah.
Like there was a reporter in Canada for CTV who she's young. She had a stroke or, what appeared to be a stroke live on air. And then immediately they did a whole segment on there like, I'm not going to say what this is or is not, but I'm just going to say you have to make a choice. And if you think that choice that you make is going to, potentially give you myocarditis, then who knows what could happen. It's just like, being cowards to not take a stance on the whole thing. But like she had to come out the next day and make a statement because of the harassment that she was getting, being like, I am young, but that was a stroke. It was not because of the vaccine. Like, fuck all of you. Why are you sending me all this conspiracy bullshit?
Not to mention, like, who just died? Diamond, right?
Yeah, Diamond.
Or Silk? Like, it was Diamond. And wasn't she unvaxxed? Like, she was
Apparently, she's suing anyone, or Silk is suing anyone who says that it was from COVID. So,
because they never
allegedly
said specifically it was COVID.
But she was in the hospital with COVID since like November.
According to Trump,
I can't get any more threats for lawsuits. Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
according to Trump, she died because her heart was just too big.
Right.
That's sweet.
Right.
That's sweet.
That's actually a really wholesome and cute thing for him to say.
Yeah.
That's
about as wholesome as Trump gets.
Yeah, that's as wholesome as he gets. Exactly.
Honestly,
we should just be using that for whenever they do this suddenly died bullshit. Their heart, their heart was just too big. Their heart was just too big.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, here's this. I have not seen this.
おかしい。絶対におかしい。私たちには使命があるの。死んでたまるもんですか。これは警官は人間じゃないわ。みんな土人形よ。そうと分かれば容赦はしないわ。
Oh my god. She's groaning.
Wait, this is unedited? It's totally...
It's edited, yeah.
Not the dialogue. I meant the animation. Like,
yeah. They just changed the subtitles.
Put that back on screen for a second.
Central control.
Just put the you don't have to play it, but just put that back on screen for a second.
Yeah.
Mike, how did you discover this viral sensation with 684 views?
Oh my god, it's not even that popular.
No, it was on Reddit. I don't know if this particular video was on Reddit, but it was on Reddit, and there's like a bunch of different copies of it. So I don't know.
One day he's like, you know what? I hate the cops and I love Sailor Moon. Let's put those together.
I mean, right. That's what I was thinking. What else? How do you come across this video unless you're looking for Sailor Moon says fuck the police?
Everyone follow my Teiyan Uchiha sock puppet account discovered by Matt Binder again.
Yeah, this is like your side channel, right? Yeah. Mike's gonna start
exposed.
just now that it's out. He's just gonna start live streaming Sailor Moon content from that channel.
You can't get nothing past Matt. He's gonna sniff out those sock puppet accounts.
Yeah, I don't know. I always look for the most ridiculous things, and that just stuck out to me. 684 views.
I didn't even notice it. I'm pretty sure there's like multiple uploads when I searched for it, but no, it was posted on Reddit. Oh, here we go. This is what I wanted Ole to react to last week.
Here, let's watch.
They want to take those funds and donate them to leftist causes rather than giving them back to investors and all of that other stuff. But this is a person who was wrapped up in that scandal. She ran a fund that was involved in it. A close colleague of crypto king Sam Bankman-Fried, Ellison is now pleading guilty, saying she knew what they did was illegal. So she knew what they did was illegal, but the Washington Post is still trying to make her into a victim. Okay, I mean, think about that. The Washington Post, owned by Jeff Bezos. Okay, so it's the Amazon Washington Post. Other notable headlines from the Washington Post
This is
in
not
the
1.5.
past.
People in chat asking. This is not sped up.
Look, my dad took out, it was leading ISIS.
No, it is not sped up. No.
He's an austere religious scholar, not a murderer, rapist, piece of crap. This is the Washington Post. This is another article from the Washington Post. Before the FTX collapse, founder Sam Bankman-Fried poured millions into pandemic prevention. He's such a good guy. We should make sure he gets off easy. And guess what, folks? In our system, he probably will. Unlike you, or certainly not me.
How is he on the side of?
Did the things
Like what?
that he did. Most of those
The everyday man, Trump Jr.
He's anti-crypto now?
Washington Post. I wonder why. Because it seems as though he defrauded billions from people and poured them into leftist causes. And they're shocked. They want to put it back in there. Because guess what, folks? The legacy media, they took their money to write headlines for them, in my opinion, right? And by golly,
oh my. Okay, hold up. Is he trying to be his dad now? Like he's putting that that hard like.
Actually, I thought with his voice and his movements, he was sort of channeling like Gilbert Godfrey.
I see it.
Why is
Gilbert Godfrey
and moving around so much like this? I just don't get it. I mean, it's weird, bizarre. Also, he looks
actually
healthy,
funny.
Right? Like he looks like he lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Like but not like in a good, healthy way. Like he's got a large head, and his body's kind of small.
His head has grown substantially.
And the reason he's going at SBF is because SBF is the perfect target for conservatives, specifically because of all those news reports about how much he donated to Democrats. So they use him as the example of, oh, look, you donate to Dems and look what happens. You get away with committing huge financial crimes. Of course, as we know, he was literally extradited from the Bahamas and is going to court and has been hit with, I don't know, like a dozen different charges of wire fraud and conspiracy to commit money laundering. Like the dude's going away. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I don't know.
Don Jr. said he's getting off. Not like you and him, just average Joes. Don Jr.
No, the other FTX executives who agreed to out to a plea deal in exchange for aiding in the case against him. Their plea still involves them going to prison for many years. I think for a few of them, decades are involved. Like he will, I think, get he will also, I don't know if he'll plea out, but I think eventually he will end up agreeing to tell prosecutors information about other names in the cryptocurrency industry in exchange for some sort of deal. He will still go away for many years. But I do think he has information about other players in the space that he will want to use to get a slightly better, more lenient term. But that's still going to be many years. There's no scenario where this dude does not go to jail. Let's put it that way.
Whether it's current or not, they paid for those headlines.
With
more money or other people's defrauded money, and they're going to write the headlines. The Washington Post literally only exists to push Democrat Party and progressives talking points and to stir up hatred, whether it's racial or otherwise, to make sure you get through the extremist leftist paywall for their subscribers. Anyone that still considers them a reputable purveyor of journalism, come on, wake the hell up, folks.
Come on.
So that's your update on Main.
Oh my God.
Rumble paid him $1 million for a contract. I have to point that out again. I have to.
I gotta say that's he made a bad deal then, because reports have come out recently that they paid Andrew Tate $9 million for a Rumble deal. Yes.
Is that going to be from prison?
Still
they are currently, they said in a statement they did not deny the amount in a statement to Axios, I believe who it was, or CNN. I can't recall where I saw this. They did not deny the number in a statement, but they did say that we are not going to prejudge him, and then we will just see how the case plays out before.
Weird take, considering the guy said that he had sex with a 16-year-old on camera, and like on camera. That's not like that's hearsay. That's him bragging. He's got an episode where he's like, "Yeah, well, when I was an adult, I had sex with a 16-year-old." That's
Listen,
his own.
If I was Sean Jr., I'd be mad about that deal. I mean, he took a lot less from Andrew Tate did, and he is putting out a lot more content. And I would say he's a larger name for the audience of that platform. And on top of that all, as far as we know, Donald Trump Jr. didn't even I don't even want to go there. Let's just leave it at that.
Well, I will say, in my opinion, I think that they're overpaying because his, like, I swear to God, his engagement is competitive with us. Like, David Dole 100% gets more views. He's competitive with me. Like, I'm comparable. I'm probably edging him out a little bit. He's not going to bring in a lot of eyeballs. So $1 million for that. I mean, fuck, people. What are we doing wrong here?
We're not right wingers.
That's true.
What we're doing wrong.
Well,
Not really. I mean,
canceling.
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry. Ole's got her show to go to. Are we doing cancel on cancel? Anyone's got anybody?
That's it. Scarlett, do you have anyone you want to cancel or anyone you want to uncancel who hath been canceled? We have the power to do that. It's pretty cool.
Who was canceled last week? I missed it.
You.
What?
Oh, right.
Yeah, you were canceled.
Okay, so I nominate we uncancel Matt Binder for starting.
Because you don't follow us on Twitter.
No seconds. He didn't rectify it. And he didn't rectify it.
I don't even know what I need to rectify. What do I need to do?
You don't follow us on Twitter, Binder.
Is that right?
The fact that that's part of the fact that he doesn't know is part of why he needs to be canceled. Understand the level. I'm levying new charges. Now figure this. Imagine, right? You co-host a show with 5 motherfuckers and you don't follow some people.
I follow?
You don't follow me or David. So
it's just you two?
So we call you out.
Binder, I've been on your show like multiple times. I discovered this. I'm like, wait, Binder follows like the worst pieces of shit in the world. He doesn't follow me.
So
wait, I don't follow you?
No, you don't follow me.
Mike, I follow you, right?
Yeah, this is why, Matt, and not because you follow me because I'm biased, but I think we should give people second chances.
No.
Maybe you just saw their tweets on your timeline.
We DM.
Not only
I can't bail you out on this one. I can't. No,
not only do you not follow us, but when we call you out on the group chat, you don't fucking know because you don't read it. And then we go on our show that you're not at.
Well, to be fair, Blair has missed like 3 episodes.
Yeah, we'll cancel. I'll vote that we cancel Blair in a moment.
We cancel Blair this week.
We'll cancel Blair. But then we call you out on the show and cancel you there. And again, you have no idea because you didn't fucking watch it.
I don't even care about that. I just want to be followed on Twitter. That's all.
Okay,
that's all I want.
To be fair, I didn't watch the episode I missed because I would have had too much FOMO.
Lance,
I was like, I don't want to get the FOMO.
I have no problem. Listen, I had charges for everybody. Everybody could get prosecuted if y'all want.
Oh my God.
Wait,
this is why you can't give leftists the power because they turn against each other and start canceling each other immediately.
I just want to say, I did not realize.
I don't know why, but I cancel Mike. Okay.
I did not realize our cancel segment was so self-serving. I didn't realize we could cancel people because they don't follow us on Twitter. Excuse me.
We're 5 episodes in and already canceling each other.
It's crazy.
David, you have 2 Twitter accounts, right? You sure I don't follow one of them? And I got confused.
Oh, you probably follow the shitty one. You got to follow David Dole. That's the important one.
Okay, there you go. So then when we get down to it, I just don't follow Olayemi. Yeah, right?
To be fair, you might not even follow that one. I don't know.
He doesn't follow. I'm gonna levy some new charges against you in a second.
You know what? You know what? Now that I know I was canceled last week, I'm not following any of you anymore.
Everyone's
I defended you, so if you unfollow me, I unfollow you. It's mutually assured.
Wait, what was your
destruction.
defense of me? What was your defense of me?
That we can't jump to conclusions,
Because
obviously,
he's
and we have
followed
to
by
hear
you.
him out. It's
There you
it's
go,
not a
yeah.
bias or conflict of interest, David. Okay, it's just that I think that we need to give Matt the opportunity to defend himself because he wasn't on the show.
Well, he gets a
I
he gets a second chance. He could follow me right now, but if he doesn't do that, then he's canceled for sure.
See, I don't like being held up like that. I don't like.
You have 7 days.
Matt is
7
the
days.
client. Matt is the client that
Like the
knows
ring.
he's been convicted of trial, but will not talk about a plea. Like that's like, nah, I deserve
like
my
It's
I
just
feel like you
Matt. I respect your work. That's all it is. I respect you, and it's just like it hurts me. That's all. It's hurt.
All
It's
right,
hurtful.
all right. Well, if you say
Translation of
something like
love.
that, yes. Otherwise, I was about to say I don't give in. I don't give in to the demands of terrorists over here.
Mob rule.
Follow me or else.
Who are we uncanceling?
I think we should
canceling?
uncancel
Or
Diamond.
what do we do?
Because she
Who?
has a diamond.
What are you? What?
Diamond from Diamond and Silk, the one who died. I think we should
No, she's
uncancel
done.
her.
What are you uncanceling?
Diamond and Silk.
The right wing
No, I know, I'm
duo.
saying, what are you uncanceling for
The
them?
coons. Why would we do that? Why would we uncancel them? What's the?
Because she
You got to defend your
isn't-
position, Mike.
Okay,
Yeah,
listen.
that's true. Actually, Oof.
She entered heaven. Now
Where? Wait, hold on, wait, wait.
that was
Wait. Oh, run it back! Run it back! Where?
listen.
What you mean is that she's already in hell, so it's already too bad. It's already too bad.
Oh,
bad
shit.
for her.
My mic on that one.
I shouldn't have spoke. But listen, her sins have been erased. What she did on earth, maybe she's in God's hands now. We should just
What?
we should just forgive and forget.
Where did you go to
Hell,
church,
I
Mike?
was
When
right
you
to
die,
Mike.
your
I
sins
was
are
so happy
erased.
to cancel Mike.
No,
It was a
no.
Hail Mary. A Hail
I'm
Mary
talking
for me to
about-
say I canceled
That's
Mike.
when
That
it
was
become
right.
permanent. That's
Let me
when
just
it's permanent record.
reverse.
Listen. According to Mike, Jeff Epstein's a good guy now. His dead, his sins are erased.
Oh, don't fuck with me.
Erased. He's
Don't do me
happy.
dirty like that. Matt, I was defending you, motherfucker. No, I don't know. I don't know about
Well,
a
then I
serious
guess we have no real
uncancellation.
names. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who's canceled right now? I don't know.
I feel like everybody who's canceled deserves it.
Kanye, I guess. Yeah.
I'm not ready for him
this
yet.
No.
It's gonna be a long, like maybe 1,000 years, and lots of rehabilitation.
Mhm.
I don't know. This is hard because like I hate a lot of people, and I feel like if they're canceled, then fuck them. They deserve it.
Oh, I got it. Can we uncancel Pee Wee Herman?
Why we cancel?
Yeah.
Who canceled Pee Wee Herman?
Who? No one
Pee Wee Herman
canceled
got
Pee Wee
canceled.
Herman.
No,
A long
Pee Wee
time
Herman
ago.
was broadly canceled
Yeah.
because apparently it was like he was masturbating in a public theater and he's like
I know it's-
exposed himself.
Oh, yeah,
right.
right.
It was a porn
remember
theater.
that
It's
happened. I
where
didn't
you are
know.
supposed to masturbate. And
Wait,
it's
we
like,
could go. We could go back in time. We're talking about something that happened in
Of
like.
course we can go back in time. He hasn't been uncanceled. He was persona non
Hey,
grata.
What are you
to,
talking
like,
about? He had
Glow,
a show on.
basically.
His
long
show
time
came back on
coming.
Broadway in the 2010s. He's hosted a
I
game
forgot
show.
about that. He did come back,
network
didn't he?
television. Paul Rubens has been uncanceled like a decade, 2 decades.
Oh shit,
All right. Well, what do you got? I got
man.
nothing
Where's
He had a show. There was a new Pee Wee movie on Netflix a couple years ago.
Was there really?
Yes. Which I watched because Pee Wee Herman probably has shaped my sense of humor and my entire life. Because
Oh,
You're
Matt,
muted.
you muted.
You went mute while you were talking. That was bizarre.
Hilarious.
Wait, was that a bit? Was that part of the bit? Where you're like,
That's so
it's
funny.
silly
That's
and zany.
genius.
Like, wait.
You said he influenced your sense of humor and Jesus muted you. That's so fucking funny.
I think you're back now.
I'm crying. Okay.
I don't know.
I got to y'all head over to Tea Time with the Late. I vote we don't cancel anybody. There's just gonna be
That's fair. Yeah.
That's
We don't
fine.
uncancel any. We don't uncancel anybody. We cancel more people.
We have to
okay.
catch up next week.
Blair.
That's all.
Let's cancel Blair.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blair's canceled this
Cancel
week.
Blair.
She's not
But
here.
Blair's on probation. Blair can make her case next week.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
but Bender. It's
Tough there.
sentencing.
Well, if you two would go and check your Twitter notifications, you will find some.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay,
look at
that's
this.
He's a good
Oh,
dude. He's
Bender's a great guy.
Oh.
I'm canceled.
What a great guy
Bender's
Bender is.
uncanceled. So that's our uncancellation for this week. Y'all head over to Tea Time with Olay. It's gonna be really great. Go and call in. I talk to people. I'm fun. Okay, that's my plug. Toodaloo, toodaloo.
Bye. I think you all know who the rest of us are. We don't have to.
Yeah, you know
And again,
me.
I will link to I will
Definitely.
link to Scarlett's stuff below this video on YouTube.
I'm David Dole. I host the Rational National, so check it out.
There you go. I am Mike Figueredo. We are confusing. Mike, one of the first times I was ever recognized, someone thought I was from the Humanist Report. That
Seriously?
he got the two shows. Yeah, I think I messaged you after this. He got the two shows mixed up. He's like, "Are you Humanist Report?" I'm like,
compliments.
close, Rational
Yeah,
National.
you two are pretty interchangeable.
That's a huge compliment to me.
That's it. Canceled. Canceled.
Yeah. All right, Matt. That's it. Last. One of us could be eliminated and nobody would even notice. They just think that, everything is copacetic in the world. Just
Also
disappear. All right,
All right,
folks.
folks.
Scarlett, thank you so
Bye.
much for joining.
Yeah, thank you so much, Scarlett,
Yes.
for coming.
Thank you for inviting me. This is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, thank
well,
you.
folks, we'll see you all next week. Next Thursday at 5:30 p.m. PST.
I hate when you use the PST time because that's not the time I use.
Yeah, I know. It's Eastern time.
It's the only time I use, folks, so you have to adapt to me, okay? All right, take care.
All right, bye, people. I'm going to say bye to my own audience once you're all gone.
Okay.
Oh, look at that. Now it's just me. All right. So I saw some chats, some super chats. Let me grab those. Today was very, I think, entertaining. I was entertained. I don't know about you. My hair, though, like it's just doing. What is this? What is this? What's this? I can't look. I can't do anything. It's there we go. That's something. I don't know. All right, let me find these this chats. Where are they? This is different because this is not. I usually use a streaming program, and I'm not used to using this to stream. It's kind of bizarre. What if I go here? Solo layout. Okay, same thing. All right, let me find these super chats and jump out of here. I will say, I enjoy these, especially as someone who works, alone all week. I have family, but in terms of my work, I work alone. It can get kind of shitty, covering this news. This past week the news wasn't too bad, but oftentimes the news isn't the most positive, and it can be very depressing. So to have sort of like a place where we all get to talk, have a good time, and relate to each other. It's good to feel like there are people out there who are sane. Why am I having a hard time finding this? YouTube, get your shit together. Here we go. Okay. Today is the 12th. Stars Art Bar says, "Hi y'all, should talk about Justin Roiland being outed as an abuser. PS, he also tries to force his employees to make NFTs with him, which is just so I don't know anything about the story. That's really shitty. There are a lot of disgusting people in the world, but obviously I got to read more about that to know anything about it. Stray7 says, do you folks have any thoughts on Hasbro's rug pull on the Dungeons 7 Dragons open game license? I don't know anything about this. I apologize. I heard some commentary, or not heard, but I saw some people talking about D&D on Twitter. I didn't pay too close attention. I'm not really into D&D. I assume that 7's supposed to be an ampersand, not a 7. Yes. But I don't know about that. Law Gnome says, Leftist Comrades and Chained Echoes, a perfect Thursday night. I have started playing Chained Echoes. I'm enjoying it as well. Good pick, Law Gnomes. Also, guess what arrived today? guess what I picked up on the internet. I'm not even sure how to say the name of this game. I think it's Baton Katos, but GameCube game, RPG. I've wanted to own this since learning more about it. Like what I was, I've always been a big gamer. I knew when this game came out, but I wasn't super into JRPGs at the time. This though, looks real good. So I may be checking that out at some point, maybe even on stream. And also grab myself Donkey Konga 2. I played Donkey Konga on Twitch. I put it up on my David Dole, my second channel. So I got Donkey Konga 2 now to see what other songs are in this game to play. In case you guys don't know, this is how you play Donkey Konga. It's a music rhythm game, and there's buttons in here. You bang the bongos. It is a great time. So I'll be playing some Donkey Konga 2 at some point. But yeah, it's been a enjoyable time in the David household. Next question. Jonathan Scott says, please ask Matt if he's, I apologize for not seeing it at the top. Please ask Matt if he's looked into massive scam Hasbro is pulling regarding Dungeons and Dragons. They're using NFTs. So bring this up again next week. And hopefully someone will notice that in the chat, because I did not read the chat, unfortunately, while we were on. And if you can tell, I'm a bit sick right now. Chris Deason says, yes, Olay, it's dumb to focus on these Republican distractions. Maybe that's why you're still doing the show, to keep these clowns on track. Dude, David, you do have power over this show. Why talk about this? Why talk about what? What do we talk about? We always talk about Republican. I didn't. So in regards to that stuff, the idea that I have the ability, Ola even mentioned in her discussion, it's not about us. We don't have the ability to move, the media conversation. We're reacting to the news. That's what we're doing. We're reacting to what's going on. But as I said, if I controlled a major news outlet, then yeah, I would ignore that shit. I would try to actually move the larger media narrative, but I don't have that power. And even still, look at my channel. I didn't cover any of the I didn't cover the M&M stuff, though I may still do that because it's hilarious. But I didn't cover some of that stuff because I just don't, there were things happening. But if I did cover it, who cares? I'm not moving the conversation. Lizzie says, oh, wow, Sailor Moon going all NWA on those pigs. All right. Oh, there's a new chat. Thank you for doing that now, so I noticed. Otherwise, I would have not noticed that. Dwayne Bramble says, very generous. By the way, all generous chats. Thank you so much. Dwayne appears to have the most generous chat. Says, hey, David, today was my Earth Strong / birthday. I enjoyed your show all the time. I like the engagement. Oh, thank you, Dwayne. And happy birthday. Hope you have a hope you had a fantastic day. Also, Dave L. I keep trying to get Professor Wolf to look at Young Ye's channel. The video game industry needs an old school Marxist critique. That is interesting. I had not thought. Oh, I can show chats on screen, and I didn't utilize this. What is wrong with me? Thank you. That's amazing. Why didn't I do this? Yeah, there. Maybe I should do that, because I am super into gaming. I used to cover the gaming industry, not any. I did it part-time, didn't really make much money off of it. IGN owes me a couple of checks. They never paid me. I did a couple of articles for them. They never paid me. It's amazing. But yeah, it's something I'm getting, I don't know, more into now in a way. Like I'm getting back into retro gaming now. I got my GameCube out of storage. Like I found my DS, wherever the hell it is. Now I lost it. I found my DSi XL. And before we get off here, in case you guys didn't see my tweet, I went back. You could take photos of yourself on this thing. So I checked. Since I hadn't turned this thing on in like 10 years, I was curious what the photos in this would be. Play Summoner and Summoner 2. I actually just what was it? I just ordered an RPG for the 3DS actually that I'm going to be playing. But what am I doing? I want to show you a photo. So see that? That's me in 2009. It's so weird going back to like old technology and being like, what was I doing? Oh my god, there's photos of me here from 2009. Very bizarre. But yeah. I miss what pissed me off. I misplaced my 3DS. I don't know where it is. Like I don't know where it is, which is weird for me. I don't lose things. So I feel like it was stolen, but I don't know. But anyways, I'm gonna get a new 3DS and play some classic games I missed. Anyways, this has gone way too long. You still play your 3DS? What do you play on it? If you don't mind me asking. Oh, we got some gaming comments. Dave L says Death Stranding is amazing. I played like 3 hours. I couldn't. I have a hard time getting into Kojima's games, and it's only because of gameplay. The only game of his I've actually ever completed is Metal Gear Solid 4, which I thought was great. But I have a hard time playing through Kojima's games. Splinter Cell and Tekken, interesting. Splinter Cell on the 3DS. Never played that one. Or Tekken's on 3DS as well. All right. Oh yeah, before I get off. The game that I ordered. Since you're all waiting, you're all really curious what 3DS game I ordered online. Radiant Historia. So there's this guy I follow on Twitter, Stealth40K, and he always tweets about games, and he usually has he has very educated perspective, especially on RPGs. So he mentioned how he thinks that is the most underrated RPG of all time, Radiant Historia on DS or 3DS, and that piqued my interest. So I made sure to grab myself a copy, because you can't. The thing about emulation, I mean, you can emulate 2DS and 3DS games, but it's not the same as playing on an actual dual screen handheld. So when it comes to those games, I feel like you almost have to play it on the actual handheld as opposed to, emulating it in some way. But I am looking forward to checking that out. All right. Thank you all for showing up. And by the way, if you're actually into gaming, follow me on the youtube.com/David Dole. I'm going to try to be putting up like a video a week on there, just random stuff. So far, there's like my games of the year from last year, and also me playing Donkey Konga for the first time in 20 years. So that was fun. But I'll be doing weekly gaming stuff on there, just as a way to kind of like help clear my mind and put my efforts, my creativity elsewhere, while I still, of course, focus on what I normally do. But it's a good escape. All right. Thank you all for showing up, and I will see you next time. I'm trying to figure out how to end this thing. Goodbye.